Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to Law-Splaining the Interwebs. I am your host, Nick Rekieta of Rekieta Law, small law firm in Central Minnesota. And oh my goodness, I was laying down. I was laying down on my hair, so it's even worse than before. Yes, all of the jokes about the hair, just get them out of your system right now. That would be good. That way we can go back to what's important, and that is jokes about the nose. With that said, yeah, it is Ryan Cannell. That's right. What's up, guys? I'm Ryan Cannell from RK Outposts. I'm here. Nick is not in tonight, actually, so I'll be doing the show for Nick. Never mind that I'm sitting. It's just a green screen, and I put a skin on my microphone so that it looks the same. But yeah, it's actually me. Anyway, what's up with you fine folks? You folks, is that your folks, right? We've got the California recall. We've got the California recall going on tonight, and I'm going to occasionally pull up coverage of the recall election. I don't know why. I don't know what for. I don't know that there's going to be anything to actually report on, but I know the news is reporting on it. Therefore, we will report on it. It looks, I mean, they already called it. Newsom won. Yeah. I mean, that seems like what the expected outcome was going to be. And I have no surprises on it. No surprise about it. Now they will go ahead and dismiss any claims of fortification or otherwise. They've already been dismissing them for days. And I'm sure it's going to come out that Gavin won with something like 9,000% of the vote. That's get uncivil on for it. It's uncivil even awake right now. I don't know. What are we going to talk about? But I do have some alternative topics to cover as we get going. And of course, you guys always have the ability to influence the show in whatever way gets my attention. That is certainly a possibility. But we have some... What? Whoa! Sometimes the lighting, like, if I get too close and the light like catches my forehead just right, we get a crazy white balance going. Get good logic on. Tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to I'll invite Joe to the stream if he wants to come on. I know he just got done, but if he wants to pop in, he can. I don't know. I didn't like ask him. So that's kind of, like, can't expect him to show up. Wait, Joe said he would come on. Oh God. Oh God. Oh, the quartering's in here too. Oh no. See, guys, if you want to know what happened to my hair, actually, this is kind of an inside baseball YouTube thing. Okay. Most people don't know how this works, but there's a thing going around, and you've probably seen it. Some of the top grifters that are out there, like me, there's the quartering, there's DSP, obviously Geeks and Gamers and Nerdrotic. We're all up there, the toppest of grifters, right? And there's a thing, and Ryan Cannell and I have done this. You either have to wear a Sonic hat during like a giant live stream, or you have to get a Nazi youth haircut. That's it. That's the only two options. It's how the grift goes. And, it was Jeremy's turn on Friday. Jeremy from the Quartering, not Jeremy Geeks and Gamers. And he was given the option, and he's like, you know what? I just got to go with the Sonic hat. That's what I got to do. I got to wear the Sonic hat. and then I love the part when Alex Jones is talking about something and he's like grabs the Sonic hairs and it's like pulling them down. It's like, what is he doing? Why is this happening? But yeah, it's a thing. It's in the YouTube partner agreement that you got to do this when you reach a certain level of grift, and that's, we all make our choices. We make our choices. So that's what we got. I do have some other stories that are going on, and we have a bunch of legal documents to catch up on. So we'll get to some interesting stuff. I guess what is CBS even doing right now? Let's see what these people are saying on the Newsom recall. They've got a thin Asian man. They've gone live to a thin Asian man. So I'm pretty curious. We're gonna see what do we got here. Why? Remind yourselves that there are 22,000 people watching this live stream over here. Oh fuck! I think I forgot to share audio. Hold on. Here we go.
Going to push for those vaccine mandates, or someone like Larry Elder, who has said that he would rescind those mandates as soon as he took office.
Kenny, did you get a sense that he would be speaking as soon as he was? When you were up there throughout the day today, did you have a sense that CBS News would be calling it as soon as they did, 38 minutes after the polls closed? What was your take on kind of how soon he came out and how prepared they were to talk?
So immediately, I have not been watching this. I found this link hours and hours and hours ago. But immediately they've made the recall election about vaccine mandates. So, and not about what it's really about, which is the fact that there was almost no way they were going to actually successfully pull off a recall election in this political environment in California at this time. And you know what I mean by this political environment. And you can take of that what you will, but it has nothing to do with the policies of Gavin Newsom. And we know that because California is a shit. Its economy is shit. There's homeless people all over the place. People don't have jobs. They're not happy. All of that stuff. And yet Gavin Newsom will get a pass on all of it. The poll numbers are in on vaccine and mask mandates, and they are not great. But in California, they're all fine, apparently.
Well, we certainly knew from the early returns that he had an advantage. Analysts had been talking about it throughout the week about how those returns favored Democrats, registered Democrats, sending in those ballots early. And so you got a sense from that, plus
sometimes often,
that the Newsom campaign was very confident heading into the night. And that's what you saw right after 8 o'clock. They said that, or shortly before 8 o'clock, they said that Newsom would be speaking shortly after the polls would close. And then he did come out. They were certainly probably waiting for some of those projections or some of those calls to be made by the news outlets, including CBS, and then he came out as soon as he heard, and he was confident that the recall would fail. That it failed.
All right,
Ken.
Sacramento.
Can you guys feel the electricity? Like, can you feel the news coverage going on? 22,000 people are watching this stream now. I know, like, and this is YouTube, right? And that's probably not the biggest viewing that CBS would normally have, although some days you got to wonder. Look at what they watch. It's so boring and dull and dry, and the analysis is awful.
Covering the governor and his victory over the recall
and the
election.
talent on screen deserves an axe.
As we saw the recall numbers in, and CBS News calling it a landslide. Right now, we're looking live out at Costa Mesa, California, where Republican candidate Larry Elder is just minutes away from speaking to supporters who are gathered there, as you can see.
Let's see if we can get Larry's words. We're not going to spend too much time on this tonight.
Jump into this.
Oh, God.
White House political correspondent Ed O'Keefe joining us back.
Oh, the White House political correspondent.
Ed, because a lot of people feeling, wow, that was fast.
Yeah, but I think, and I can speak for our Anthony Salvanto, who had said that based on the fact that
Based.
your state is so great about letting people know who had been turning in ballots, and the fact that there was an overwhelming margin of Democrats doing so, signaled that it was likely that just math would not allow a Republican to get by the governor. That plus the reams of polling that had been released really in the last 2 weeks or so that showed him.
It's almost like the polling came about after they were extremely worried about what was going on with the recall, and just came right in time.
Pulling away from yes, I think was enough. And then of course just seeing the data tonight. I mean, at this point, checking the latest numbers, it's winning essentially 67 to 33%. Even in California, no matter where it is, that's what we call a blowout. And he's certainly pulling that off tonight by convincing enough California.
Yoo-hoo, big winter
voters to vote
blowout.
No. And I find it interesting. I'm just peeking into the county by county results.
Okay.
There in San Francisco, it's not Larry Elder, who is the top choice on question 2. It's that Kevin Paffrath, the YouTube star, the only other real Democrat in this race, who's pulling off the plurality of the vote in San Francisco County.
In San Francisco. What about the rest of the state, though?
Speaks to.
Okay, here we go.
Vice Warren.
Okay, I don't want to hear this guy. I want to see, is Larry going to talk?
From kind of that ring.
Oh, no!
There's a group
No!
of people out there who's very disenchanted.
Oh, there might be a group of people who are very disenchanted. There might be a group of people.
Well, when you go to dinner at a luxury restaurant with your lobbyist friend and don't wear your mask after telling the rest of the state to do so, I think that's part of what sparked this, right?
Oh, you think?
So it's essentially
you think that might piss people off?
That's a very basic message for any political leader. Don't get caught doing what you're asking the public to.
Why? Why don't get caught? Why don't get caught anymore? Are we still on this? Don't get caught? What has happened to anyone who's been caught? Newsom and Whitmer have each been caught tons of times doing this. Cuomo was caught. Cuomo was not ousted for any of this type of behavior. Walz has been caught. Everybody's been caught doing this. All of the people who are pro-lockdown have been caught without their masks, without their vaccines, in public places, trying to get special favors, eating in restaurants when they're not supposed to, sitting at tables with more than 6 or whatever it is. Every single one of them has been caught. What political cost has there been? Yeah, Pelosi was caught. All of them. And it's always everybody else's fault because their job is just so hard.
Doing the opposite of what you're asking the public to do. And so that was, certainly one lesson in this.
Oh, it was a lesson.
Then,
Why?
I think hearing Kevin Falconer say earlier tonight, I'm probably going to do this again. And the way to win statewide in California is a mathematical equation of addition, not subtraction, shows you that there's going to be a disagreement among Republicans, not just in California, but potentially across the country that says, we cannot afford to continue just appealing to our base and those that support the former president if we hope to win big elections.
Oh.
And, Republican Party in California has obviously had this issue for a long time, but it could be, as it often is, a signal of what could happen in the rest of the country. Because as you guys well know,
Ed,
politics in California sometimes foreshadows what happens across the rest of the country.
True. And I was going to say, this was a really passionate recall. For those who wanted him recalled, when you interviewed them, some of them would break down in tears with their reasonings. And I wonder if that
might be some,
might
be some dissatisfaction.
In 2003, maybe there was anger then, but there was some real emotion.
We interviewed a woman tonight in our newscast who said, if he isn't defeated, I'm leaving the state.
She's out of here.
I mean, she was serious. She wasn't making a joke.
Get ready, Texas. Yeah.
Yeah, and
I love how
obviously a percentage of people who are concerned and who might join that exodus of California residents to other states, but it wasn't enough, and there was clearly enough of a signal from other voters that no, we didn't want to do this yet, and even that argument of, well, if you don't like the guy, let's just finish this off and hold an election, a real one, next year. I'd be very curious if there's a way to measure what percentage of people who voted no against this did so, but aren't necessarily fans of the governor and are willing to look at other alternatives. And if there's a big enough number in that, he could face a competitive or a fellow Democrat in that race.
At least he's honest. At least he's honest. No Republicans are ever going to be back in California. They're disallowed. Okay, well, I'm gonna shut this down for a while until Larry Elder's on. Hold on, let me do one more thing, and then we'll see what happens. We'll get his remarks when he comes back. Let's see. Hold on, I gotta send a. Oh my gosh! Can I please? This is good television to the show, to do right here. This is the best riveting. Oh man, that's some good TV. Okay, there we go. That whole part is done. Thank goodness. What a disaster. RSBN has Larry Elder. Oh. Joe Kuman. Let me see if I can get this.
Before, when you're
Yeah. Shut up. Okay.
Promising perks.
Wait, I mean, but Larry Elder isn't talking. That's what I mean. Larry's not talking yet. Oh my God, look at this guy. Sorry. I shouldn't make fun of this guy. Never mind. I'm definitely going to. What is going on with this guy right here? Okay, anyway. Yeah, we're gonna. His whole aesthetic is marveling to me. That's fine. We'll wait, and when I see Larry Elder pop up, then we'll take a look at what's going on. I'd like to see what he has to say, because it's he's the guy who has a different vision for California than Governor Gavin Newsom. That's the crazy thing. People know what they're in for with Newsom. And they want, 2/3 of the state wants the boot on their neck. They want it. They want the boot on their neck. They want it in their mouth. They want to lick the leather. They love being controlled by the government. And that is their prerogative to do so. I can't believe it that's what they want, but that is what they are choosing. And well, have fun. Get out of California. There are other states that like you more than California likes you. I mean, at least I think so. I would wager that any number of other states, and especially with COVID and people being able to work from home, I get it though. I'm stuck in a blue state. I'm stuck here. There's basically nothing I can do to leave this state either, as much as I would actually love to be out of Minnesota. It's just not in the cards. So for some people, I understand you can't move, but if you have the ability, you may want to consider getting out. Also, screw you, California. All your state's shit policies end up in my state because my governor likes to take notes from yours. So thanks for nothing. Anyway, let me get some of these early super chats, and then we will start some discussions. I'm going to continue. Something I've been doing lately is discussing liberty a little bit more, and then we'll do some of that because it's necessary. I was on Geeks and Gamers earlier tonight, and we were discussing the Vito situation. I do want to discuss that a little further here in case people didn't see it over there, and talk about what happened with Vito and all of that stuff. I was on the Dick Masterson show on Sunday, and I just want to clarify what's been going on and what kind of principles we're talking about with this stuff, especially with California and the way that its recall election went. we want to talk about liberty as much as possible, because apparently we don't talk about it enough. Apparently we don't talk about liberty enough. I can't take it. Look at the hat. What is happening with the hat? Oh my God. So people are apt to have somebody police what they do as much as possible. And they think that liberty is only a principle that is held against the government, but it's not. It's not. Liberty is a principle. What is? I had food in my mustache. Liberty is a principle that applies to society, a liberal society, a one that is focused on liberty and those personal liberties, is one that is not just a government enforcement mechanism or a prevention of government enforcement. It is something more than that. So we'll be talking about that, and then I have some news stories. I have one that's looks like a murder to me. Looks like we're about to find out that this is a murder. It is about another YouTuber, and that is, of course, interesting. Nothing suspicious going on. Have you seen this chick, Petite, something Petite, Gabby Petite? She's missing. This is definitely, I mean, I don't know how else to look at this other than go, this looks like a murder. Like, I'm pretty sure you murdered this girl. I mean, that's just how it looks. We'll talk about that in a minute. But there's first something that is much more important than all of that. All of that. I love how polarizing the hair is. Look, I just hope the hair enhances your polarization in one way or another. Hope you hate it. Hope you love it. I was tired of having long hair. That's where it came down to. I liked the long hair for a little while, got tired of having it. And then that was, enough to said, I'm going to go short this time. So I always tell my barber, I'm like, hey, barber, my barber is a very cool Mexican dude. And I'm like, hey man, can you, I say, you cut the hair how you see me. And he always sees me as a racist. So he cuts my hair like Richard Spencer. Apparently that's what happens. I don't know. I don't tell him. I'm not like, yeah, can I have the current least popular haircut on the planet? The one that looks like I hate all of the minorities. I just say, you cut the hair the way you see fit. And he's like, I got you, bro. Bzz, bzz, bzz. Now go Heil Hitler or whatever. So I bought this special whiskey. And I think it's about time for Ranger Spencer. I have a whole new plan for Ranger Spencer, by the way, in Skyrim, but I might have to make a new Ranger Spencer for it. I don't know yet. I have a whole new plan. I don't know if it's going to be Ranger Spencer or Jamis Tefferson. I'm not sure, but I think I need a character that walks around with an orc army. Just like that it's enslaved to my will or whatever. Orc and dark elf army. I think that might be a thing. But okay. I bought this whiskey in honor of the California recall election. It is a California whiskey. It is a Redwood Empire. And it is Emerald Giant Rye whiskey. This is in Sonoma County, California. So I have no idea what this is like. Emerald Giant is crafted from hand-selected barrels, aged at least 3 years, which is about the age Vito prefers. Aging our barrels in the temperate climate of the Northern California coast allows for a slow and even extraction of flavor, producing a whiskey of exceptional balance and complexity. Inspired by a true gentleman, John Muir, known as the father of our national parks. Motherfucker. I don't actually like national parks. John Muir was an influential naturalist and early advocate for the preservation of the American wilderness. As a writer, John Muir's philosophy regarding the spiritual union of man and nature inspires our distillery in the heart of the Redwood Empire. Okay, well, you can now tell this is a whiskey made by a bunch of Californians. So we're gonna try it out. We got to have some California whiskey, but this is much better, or much more important than all the other stuff going on. I'm just building up to it, folks. Today is actually a somber and sad day, because something that is one step above Californians, which is Canadians, a good Canadian was lost today, and that is Norm Macdonald. Norm Macdonald, phenomenal comedian, a guy who's created one of my favorite movies of all time, Dirty Work, Saturday Night Live legend. But more importantly, his talk show, The Norm Show, was one of the funniest things you can watch. And if you are not familiar with Norm Macdonald's work, you need to, there's a number of Norm Macdonald compilation videos on YouTube, like his best jokes about women, his best jokes about whatever, his most racist jokes, all of those things, knowing that Norm Macdonald was not anti anybody. He was just pro laughter and entertainment. You need to check those jokes out there, or those compilations out. Watch the Norm Show if you can. It was he is a genuine treasure of entertainment to be lost, and it sucks that that someone like Norm Macdonald is going to be gone, while we're still stuck with so many others who are far less entertaining, less funny, and less real. That was one impression you got of Norm Macdonald, is that he seemed to be one of the most real guys on the planet, and he should genuinely be missed. I am hoping that if there is one minor ray from the loss of him, it's that, you know, sometimes when a celebrity dies, Amazon will pick their movies up on Prime, because I would love to watch Dirty Work and Screwed on stream with you guys. And if we did that, it would be a candlelit. We do a candlelight vigil stream for Norm, because those movies are phenomenal, but with the proper reverence for him. But yeah, to Norm Macdonald, rest in peace. He had a disease that basically no one knew about. When he got sick, he didn't run out and start a crusade against his illness that he suddenly cared about, since it afflicted him like so many other celebrities. In fact, I don't know how many people even knew he was sick, because it just was not in his character to go out and make the illness about him. So cheers to Norm Macdonald, one of my favorite actors, favorite comedians, and in some, you know, and an icon in his own right. Bottoms up, buddy. It's a pretty good whiskey, though. That's a pretty good whiskey. I mean, it's a good enough whiskey that I would have assumed they buried Norm in California, and his remains were making up part of the peat or something. But anyway, so I wanted to get that out there. Norm Macdonald's great. All right, let's hit some of these super chats. Where did we go? Where do we go from here? Like Buffy or whatever. The battle's done and we kind of won. Never mind. If you haven't watched the Buffy musical episode, you don't even know. You don't even know what I'm talking about. And that's probably better for your life. Okay, where do we pick up there? Okay. Mario Carter 13 says, barbecue at the crematorium just got an old chunk of coal. Okay. Tet says some weird stuff going on. LA County has more people voting to keep Newsom than they had mail-in votes for the 2020 general election. Look, I don't know why would you guys think that anything else is happening? Stop. That's none of that is ever possible. Right? I mean, you guys are just crazy town. Just crazy. Bad Vibe says Iowa mandate ban unconstitutional federal ruling just released. Yep, the Iowa has a ban on mandates. And the federal judge in Iowa has said that is unconstitutional. You probably remember that in the Constitution, where it says explicitly that the governors of the states, which are sovereign under the separation of powers, don't have the ability to ban a mandate on masks or vaccines in their own state. It's in Amendment 2031, maybe. It's in there. It's in the Constitution. They figured that out where the Constitution is like, thou shalt not ban mandating. You got to mandate. Thou shalt mandate. That's what it says. So that's an interesting result, and we're going to see that stuff, from the judgment class. The judge or the judicial class, cast, whatever, they're going to issue their lower court rulings. It's going to be a big jumbled mess. And then ultimately the Supreme Court or the appeals courts will cuck out and say, of course it's unconstitutional to ban mandating masks in your state or vaccines or whatever it is. Like, of course it's unconstitutional to say that the government cannot force people to do something. So, yeah, that's how that's going to go. Sorry to be the black pill on that one. I know my camera keeps brightening everything. I think somehow it's the lighting that I have. Wait a minute. I know what's wrong. I actually have no idea what's wrong. I have no idea what's wrong. I mean, I know what's causing it. It's picking up the glare on my white supremacy complexion or whatever. But and then occasionally the white balance on the camera is just doing that. So who knows? Who knows? I thought I had turned the brightness on my lights up a lot. It turns out I did not. So I don't know what's causing it. Eldon Bainling says, this is going to be a black pill stream, isn't it? I can feel it in my commie hating bones. Don't you dare lie to me. Hashtag nuke CA before 2024. Wolfgang says, looks like probably my last week at this university. Oh, well, I tried. If they can't bring up their standards, I'll study by myself and finish by December. Stop it. Stop doing that, camera. Why? Why are you racist against me? Funny Valentine 2024 says, rip Norm. 2021 has been a mother effer of a year. Red Guy says, story of my day. The Massachusetts National Guard were activated to be school bus drivers because kids need that brainwashing and not enough drivers do it. Oh, in Minnesota, the school bus driver shortage is a genuine crisis, and it's amazing. It's the unintended consequences of giving people a basic income. All of this shit that we have heard, how and this comes from the left and the right. There are people on the right who are like, no, we got to have UBI. We got to have a basic income. We got to do it. I will always disagree. I think there is always going to be a market for work. The problem is when you implement a basic income, in this case, through the unemployment system, then you go ahead and create a scenario where people don't want to work. They don't want to do the shit job of being a bus driver where you have to work in the morning and then you have to work in the afternoon. You don't get to work in the midday. That you just don't get hours. You don't get hours early. You don't get hours late, except the like rare instance where you're busing for a school trip, and you have to take 3 months of the year just off. You just don't get paid at all. And you don't get unemployment because you're technically still a bus driver. Why would you take that job when you could just not take that job and get paid by the government? And bus drivers in Minnesota get paid something like $20 an hour. They just don't get that many hours. There's not a lot of work to do. You hit your morning route, you hit your afternoon route, and if you're out in the country, that can be a pretty long route. But people don't want to work. The government gave them a bunch of money and told them you don't have to work anymore. So people are like, yeah, I haven't been working for a year. That's pretty cool that I keep getting paid. Talked about this yesterday with Adam Krigler. $15 an hour comes out to just shy, like right around $31,000 a year. Because Joe Biden mentioned, we need the people you should never work and be in poverty. And he's like, that's why we need $15 an hour minimum wage. But he's speaking to California. And in California, $31,000 a year is below the federal poverty line for California. It's not enough. $15 an hour minimum wages are not enough to be out of poverty. So Joe's wrong on his facts, wrong in his math, but $15, let me spoiler alert this. $15 an hour is enough for most people to actually live competently. Now, you can't live in LA or San Francisco because they've made those into overpriced hellholes. But yeah, the reality is that the free market, as free as it may be, on employment has done more to raise the standard wage than the minimum wage has in decades, just by having a pandemic and then a shortage. Now people are trying to pay more just so they can get a worker to come and show up to work. But where did that even come from? That was a lot. Mr. Security says, check your Twitter DMs for me. 1 minute video of Uncle Joe. It's too funny. Please play it. It will make you feel good. Twitter DMs. Oh, Mr. Security. Here it is. What is this? Okay, here we go. Let's see what this is. Excalibur, I'm always trying to look more gay. That way they don't cancel me as fast.
You got the vaccination?
Yeah.
Are you okay? I mean, you seem, no, it works. Or or the mom and dad, or the neighbor, or when you go to church, or when you're, no, I really mean it. There are trusted interlocutors. Think of the people. If your kid wanted to find out whether or not there's a man on the moon or whatever, something, or, whether those aliens are here or not.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it. I award you no points, and may God have mercy on your soul.
Okay, yes. Did you guys hear about earlier today where Biden was just cut off? Like the White House just went ahead and they just cut off his mic because he started asking questions. And they're like, whoa, we can't have that guy talk. It's a terrible plan. We got to stop him. We got to stop him. And oh my God. But that was the other day. I saw the news today. So for me, it was today. I don't care when it happens. For me, it was today. Midwest Rail Fan says the nose knows the real BBC was lit. Yeah, real BBC today with Az Mahler and Gary from Nerdrotic. I come in, I click on it. What, it did it again. Why? Why is it doing this? I click on their show because I saw earlier. I'm like, oh, Az is on with real BBC. Click, okay, whatever. Go do some stuff. Hours later, I come back and it says real BBC live. And I'm like, oh, okay. It must be that thing where I haven't refreshed the window. So it still shows the live stream, even though it's over. Like when I tried to go to Major Kill's birthday live stream. And that didn't work because it was already over and he had taken it down. So I'm like, oh, okay, I'll refresh the page. And then I look and it's still live. Like, oh my God. So I click on it and I scroll back 6 hours and they're still going. And I'm like, what are you doing? It's the middle of the day, lads. So yeah, it was lit. Fac Uniga. It's something with how I turn my head and it changes the white balance. Fac Uniga says, hypothetical. How would the Bar Association react to getting 200 bar complaints, apparently from different people about you, all of which list the sole complaint as he's too fly for a white guy? They would love it. They would love it. The Quartering says, Vito totally owned your haircut. Look, Jeremy, I know you're trying to make it. That lighting. Like, look, I know. See, Jeremy's an amateur joke crafter here. He's trying to make a joke. He's like, your haircut got beaten by Vito. Jeremy, what you don't understand is that actually happened. Vito ate my hair. All of it. Vito ate my hair. I've got none left. Okay? He's got an issue. It's a glandular problem because his glands cause those big fucking sausage hands to pick up all the food they can and shove it into his gullet. So, I mean, nice try making your little joke or whatever, but the truth is kind of sad. And we don't joke about sad truths here. Mither Nemmer says, Cali decided to stick with the failed politics of Newsom. And the Dems, shocked, I tell you. The mass exodus will ramp up more and the state will continue to collapse. Totally a win for California. Tina says, today is truly a sad day. Not only did we lose Norm Macdonald, but we also lost your hair. Oh, God. That white balance. Stop auto white balancing, you racist. Why are you color policing the stream? I'm wondering if it's like focusing on. No, it's not the things behind me. It's my head. It's my head. I'm not going to do it right now. I'll just stop turning sideways after a bit. Okay. Fucking camera. Here we go. BG Willia says, ooh, like your new do. So high and tight. So sexy. See? And that's the only feedback I'll accept. Everybody else is horrible. Adrian Valladera says, so Newsom beat the recall. Screw my state. The idiots here, and especially the evil waste of life in charge of California. I wish I could move out of California, but I'm too poor to do so. Please pray for us who want to leave but can't. Look, man, I feel you. Pseudo Snark says, cheers, Nikki. My country passed a jab rule, 2 jabs, I think. Puts me in a spot to ponder what to do. Sipping some green label Buffalo Trace. Pondering. Lots of pondering to be done by lots of people. We'll have to talk about that in a little bit, I suppose. Again, when I talk about liberty, I'm gonna have to talk about the Vito thing and just I had not watched the Friday Night Tights to see what Alex Jones actually said. And I probably should have done that before going on and arguing with Vito about it. But I actually don't care what Alex Jones said. It's the principle of the idea that he should be able to speak. It doesn't matter what his actual speech was on the issue of vaccines, because look, there is apparently some limit of speech, like, right, you cannot credibly threaten violence against someone for the purposes of causing them apprehension or harm. You can't do that. We've said that that's unprotected speech. You can't post a bunch of kiddie porn or whatever. That's unprotected speech. Okay. And I'm okay with that second rule for sure. The first rule I'll grudgingly accept, I guess, even though I think threats of violence are really, really rare, we'll say. But okay, you can't do those things. But outside of that, and that's not going to be a vaccine talk. Like that'll just be hey, I disagree with the vaccine, or hey, I agree with the vaccine. And that's about what it's going to amount to. There's nothing dangerous about discussions about these things unless you're a giant pile of trash. Then it becomes dangerous suddenly what people's opinions are. But I hadn't watched it. He misrepresented what Alex Jones said, which made me even more mad that he did that, because that wasn't actually what Alex was saying. So Vito's entire premise was based on a lie. And so we'll talk about that as we go. We might even pull up the clip so that I can show people what was actually said. Stegus says, when I hear a guy lost a battle to quote. This is a quote from Norm Macdonald. Quote, when I hear a guy lost a battle to cancer, that really did bother me. That's the term. It implies that he failed and that somebody else has defeated the cancer is defeated cancer is heroic and courageous. Norm Macdonald, rip, bass, funny man. But I think he also went on to say, when I die, the cancer dies with me. So it's not a win, or it's not a loss, it's a draw, or something like that. Marty Lund says, preservation of the American wilderness is why 1% of the Northeast is held by the Fed, but Uncle Sam owns 42% of Arizona, 45% of California, 53% of Oregon, 62% of Idaho, 85% of Nevada. Yeah. And not to mention Montana, which is another issue. All of the West. The denialist says, if California is anything like my family members that come from there, then if they told me the sky is blue, I'd have to check if there's a sky, nonetheless, if it may be blue. Tom Bombethrill says, highest super chat tonight decides what state I move to. My life is in your hands. So there you go. Apparently the highest super chat of the night gets to decide what state Tom Bombethrill moves to. Very, very crazy. Justin says, we really need an American Taliban. Oh my, that's a hot take. That's a hot take. Let's see, what do we got here? The Joskpi says, effective October 31st, staff not fully vaccinated will not be allowed to enter the workplace, will be subject to disciplinary action, being placed on unpaid leave of absence or termination of employment for cause. RIP. Yeah. That's crazy. Okay, here we go. Okay. Let's see. What else do we have going on? We've got, see, Larry Elder is still not up speaking. Because presumably because of racism. So we'll see what ends up happening there. What was I going to cover? I guess the Vito thing. Oh, wait a minute. Woo, woo, woo. The police have been notified. The police have been notified that we have a fugitive on the show. Hey, what's up, Joe?
How are you? So on my stream, first of all, it's really weird because someone asked me if I was joining you tonight, and you didn't even send me a request. I was like, I don't know. If he asked, maybe I'll see. And someone else brought you up and asked me if I saw about this thing that you were attacked by a wasp, and I didn't know that the wasp had like a razor with him. Yeah. Apparently, it was like one of those killer bee things where he basically had a shaver and he's like attacking the sides of your head there, and the result is something that we all can bear witness to your scuffle with the killer bees. So,
yeah. Look, it's a big problem. It's a big problem out here.
Yeah, apparently in Minnesota, you have unusual situations that you guys have to be prepared for. Clearly, you're not yet. So
no, I've been here a long time, 30 years, and I was not ready. I was not ready for a wasp armed with a manscaping razor.
Did you ask them? When you went in for the cut? Did you ask them like, give me a yarmulke hairstyle?
Here we go. I got your mic too high. I'm gonna fix that.
All right.
I had to turn you up the other day, and so now I've got you turned down, or I had to turn someone up, and Streamlabs preserved the setting, which was rude.
Okay.
So no. So what I did, I told this story earlier, but I'll tell it again. My barber is a wonderful Mexican guy, and so I go in, and he's a master barber, and so I say, this is your profession. Like, you cut my hair how you see me.
Right.
And he chose racist.
Yeah, apparently. Yeah, I'll tell you, I'm like, after I saw the haircut, I was like, I don't know if he really still wants me on. Like, he knows I'm Jewish, and like, this is... Well,
look, I am not racist or anti-Semitic or anything.
I'm in school ties here. Like, you're gonna start calling me the K word. It's gonna be.
I'm just saying, when really you joined the stream, my hairline receded a little bit.
It's the inverse of good logic hairstyle, basically.
It was like, oh, get me away, get me away. My hair has a silver allergy or something. Oh my god.
Yeah. No, I actually like it. I like it.
I like how it feels. I don't care how it looks that much.
Right.
I liked the long hair for a while, but it gets unwieldy, and I get tired of having it. So I go back and forth. So.
Yeah, and there's so many doors of humor that it opens that it's like pretty much it's like the second coming of the nose. It's another avenue for people to come. And it's just this is master grifting. This haircut is master grift. So
yeah, and the less hair I have, the bigger my nose looks, which increases the nose jokes.
Yes,
and all that stuff.
It's so win-win. I'm not worthy. I am not worthy.
It's okay. I'll hook you up with my guy. He'll give you a fashy haircut too.
All right, there you go.
It'll be fine. So I'm waiting for Larry Elder to show up and speak in his defeat speech.
Yeah, so are we? Is that coming? Is he going to be giving a defeat speech?
Yes.
First of all, it's not like he was running. He's not on the ticket.
Well, he's gonna give some sort of speech. Actually, he'll probably give a very positive speech, because the one thing that the Democrats in California don't want anybody to remember is they all said there was no way that a recall would even happen, like that the recall election process would even be triggered.
Right.
Like, there's no way you're going to get enough signatures.
Right.
So just having the recall election itself was always a victory. And the prospect for just a little while looked like maybe they were going to get a different governor in California. But, alas, it's not to be.
You trust the results here?
Joe, I've never trusted anything.
Okay.
I don't know how else.
I mean, they say you could have printed out ballots at your home. People were saying that they have a house where they live with their wife, and one kid, and they got 16 ballots sent to them in the mail. So I mean,
But
I wouldn't
I
be surprised
also-
if there are more votes than there are Californians. They might have like 400 million votes that came in, and 385 million saying no.
I
So-
also while I don't trust anything, like who knows. I also don't think it's that out of character to keep the government boot on their necks, right? Like I'm not that surprised that in a state that is 60 whatever, well, higher than 60% Democrat, that they're going to keep with 2/3 of the vote a Democrat.
Right.
So,
Okay.
you know,
Look, I'm not
I
saying
figured-
I'm not saying it definitely like that he didn't have more votes. I'm just saying whatever the tally is,
Would I'll
I don't
say
trust that tally.
what I'll say now is the same thing I said after the 2020 election is I think that fraud occurs in every single election. And I think anybody who says that fraud does not, well, national level elections will say. Anyone who says that there's no fraud in national level elections is ludicrous. Like that is a ridiculous position. The question is always whether there is enough fraud to meaningfully impact the thing. And that's what I don't know. Now, apparently someone in the chat just said that Larry Elder already has a site up to fight the results. And, you know, maybe that'll be, we'll get an audit the California, and that'll be great. So everybody can be deplatformed from YouTube for talking about that too. So
Right.
that'll be fun.
Yeah. I already
know,
got
who-
a strike on me, so I gotta walk this line carefully on my stream. On your stream, I can say whatever, but on mine, I gotta.
Yeah. On my stream, here's the thing. If you're going to violate YouTube terms of service, you have to say the N word with it.
Okay.
That's the rule.
All right.
That's the rule. Like if you're going to be like, vaccines don't work. This is what you got to do, because I want to be able to at least permanently have the clip that I can then use against you
Right.
for the rest of your life.
Yes, it's like a mutual exchange of pain. That's the consideration.
You're like-
That's the mutual exchange there. The consideration is
You're like,
that-
spike proteins are bad. Have you heard about crime in the N community? Oh my God, Joe, why would you say that? That's what we need.
it's
a checks
almost
and
like
balances.
you're repeating a conversation we had offline. It's
It's in the Constitution, the checks and balances thing. So yeah. So I mean, what were you talking about tonight? I saw you yesterday. You're talking about man stuff.
Yes. Last night I was talking about I was giving dating advice for men.
Right.
And I was watching a clip where I was just dunking on this woman who was basically telling you like how to get the woman in your dreams with advice that is totally going to get you friend zoned.
Yes.
And I was like, this is just awful. So I was walking through.
Never take advice on how to date a woman from a woman. Don't do it.
Right.
You're naturally inclined to give you bad advice to sabotage your chances
And
for
she's
another
a dating
woman.
coach. She claims she gives a master class. I was just like, oh my God. I should sit in on one of these master classes with her. But, so right before I came in here, it was probably 5 minutes on your time, but like what was playing on the air, I heard someone had a super chat there about an American Taliban. So last night I was actually saying how when I never heard about the whole Met Gala thing. And when I was prepping for the show, so I started going through alternative websites, and I looked at Teen Vogue, and every article was about this Met Gala thing.
Yep.
And I said, when I see how they celebrate vanity, empty plastic, nothing, losernish, dressing as bizarrely as they can because they're so insecure, these coked out gods of society, which the left really, really treats them like gods. That's another topic which I got to tonight. But when I see that, it makes me feel like I want to join the Taliban. Like, because I just want to have nothing to do with American culture, American society. I understand why the Taliban looks at America and says, you are disgusting. You are just like a hideous, vile thing, and you're spreading your crap to our kids in our country, and we don't want that. So I was like, you know what? They should start an American Taliban. Because when I see the Met Gala, that's my reaction, and that's what Teen Vogue is selling to their daughters and sons who they're trying to turn into daughters. So,
oh yeah. Okay, we're gonna go over to Larry Elder. I got to pause. He just hit the stage. Real quick, Alan Robertson sent $100 super chat. He's the current highest one. Says moving to California. So Tom Bomberthrill, apparently you are moving to California. Sorry that you laid down this gauntlet. So that's where you go. Okay, here we go. Let's see what Larry has to say here.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Knock it off. We're going to be here a while.
Oh,
you know how I can go. First of all, I really want to thank my brilliant campaign staff. My campaign manager, Jeff Corliss, my co-chair, Tony Strickland, my campaign chairman, Lionel Chetwin. Lionel, come up here. Give me some love. Give me some love, Lionel. And his significant other, Super Glow Gloria. My goodness. Ying Ma, communications director, Jennifer Alazieri.
Okay.
Took me a while to learn how to pronounce that, but you've developed it.
That sounds like the beginning of his concession speech, doesn't it?
And Deanne Tate. Where's Deanne? I never have quite understood what Deanne did. Every time I say so, she just does a little bit of everything. But I want to thank the volunteers who knocked on doors, who called people, who emailed people.
Concessions.
We had over 100,000 people who contributed to our campaign. Thank you. Thank you, Agnes. Agnes, how are you? I love you more. Don't tell my girlfriend. She's kind of territorial. Mark, how are you?
He's fine.
Mark, you were there from day one.
Mark's fine.
God bless you.
He's going to be okay.
Betty Chu.
Larry, will you start talking about the important stuff?
Yeah, seriously.
Betty? Betty, what is she? I hate, my mom used to tell me, never mention a woman's age. What are you, 82?
Oh, my God.
84?
Larry, what are you doing,
Asian
man?
American to pass the bar of California, become a lawyer.
Do you ever listen to his radio show at all?
No.
You know, our campaign.
This is what he does.
Was all Michael Horn. How are you? God bless you. I love you more.
Drexel is king of shout-outs. Maybe it's a black thing.
Oh. Ashwin, how are you? Ashwin, how are you? This campaign. Where's Gloria? Where's
Okay,
Gloria
hold
Romero?
on. I'm going to fast forward it as far as I can to get past the name drop.
I don't see Gloria Romero anywhere. There she is. Because of the issues.
Okay, here we go.
Party lines, a lot more sensibly. Gloria crossed state party lines and supported my candidacy because of the issue of school choice. Because of the issue of school choice. As you know, my opponent, Governor Gavin Newsom.
Gavin and Newsom.
Come on.
LLP.
Let's be gracious. Let's be gracious in defeat.
See? Told you.
And by the way, we may have lost the battle, but we are going to win the war.
When the next election?
Yeah, I don't know what that means.
Gloria crossed party lines because of the issue of school choice. We're spending $15,000 every year for students in our government schools in California. Notice I don't call them public schools. I call them government schools.
Okay. I like it.
$15,000 a year. Some of the worst reading scores, some of the worst math scores. Only about 15 or 16 states spend more. And the students that are getting the raw end of the deal are the black and brown students who comprise 80% of the government students in our government schools. They're getting the worst teachers.
Wow. All the other ones go to private schools? All the white kids go to private schools?
What is the route
from
poverty to middle class? At least finish high school. one presumably where you can read, write, and compute at grade level, and that is not happening. I read a study that said roughly 5% of government teachers across the nation are incompetent. Roughly 5%. I have no idea whether that's true of California.
Sounds like
but
an
let's assume
underestimation.
for a moment.
5%?
That's generous. That's very, very generous.
Yeah, that's. I think they're doing golf scores on that one.
I've seen enough TikTok videos to know that that's not true.
Yeah.
There are 300,000 public school teachers in California. Any given year, 2.2 are fired. If it is true that 5% are incompetent, that means 15,000 are incompetent. 2.2 every year are fired. Again, I'm not saying that applies to California, but assuming it does, imagine if that applied to cops in LA. I'm in LA. 10,000 force, assuming 15% were incompetent. Talking about 500. 500.
He meant 5%, but
Yeah.
Doing what? Planning evidence? Engaging in racial profiling? Using excessive force? We wouldn't put up with it. We'll put up with 15,000 incompetent public school teachers. That is why Gloria and I support school choice. So the money?
That's why he got confused. 15,000 and 5%.
yeah.
So the money goes into an account, education savings account, that the parent can control, put the kid in a charter school, a private school, a religious school, or God forbid, homeschooling. The reason we started this campaign is because this man, Governor Gavin Newsom, was sitting up there at the French Laundry
I don't know how much
restaurant
of this I really want to
with
watch. This is kind of
lobbyists
boring.
who contributed to his campaign, with the people who drafted the mandates that they were violating by not wearing masks, by not engaging in social distancing, while telling you to do it. Meanwhile, his own kids were enjoying in-person private education. Now, he incurred a $12,000 wine tab. No, I don't know what they ordered.
Amateur rookie
but I bet
numbers.
you it wasn't Mad
Yeah,
Dog
seriously.
2020.
You can spend 12,000 on one bottle. It's Gavin Newsom.
Crime up. Crime up. 41% in LA, and I'm talking about shootings, homicides. Under this governor, 20,000 convicted felons were released early. What could possibly go wrong? The other day, former Senator Barbara Boxer was mugged in Oakland. You're not cheering for Barbara Boxer being mugged, are you?
She got laughed at.
This is a rough
You hear
crowd.
about that? It's great.
No, I was just laughing at the people laughing at it.
Rough crowd. Also, I wanted to give some love to Arnie Steinberg. Arnie Steinberg, my strategist.
More
Arnie, you were
shout-outs.
brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Also, Jenny Sand is here.
He's definitely running in the next election.
Without
That's
you,
why
I
he's doing.
probably
That's why he's
wouldn't
doing.
have Jenny
this.
Sand
That's why
after
he's doing
Jack
this.
Hibbs. Dennis Prager.
Wait, are we still doing the name thing?
And again, my chairman, Lionel Chatwin, all of whom advised me to run. But ultimately, I decided to run because I felt that I could do something about the crime. I could do something about.
You should run in Minnesota, brother.
Do something about the fact that
Oh God.
California
You should.
get $800,000.
Hold on.
Look, Viva's running. Why wouldn't you run?
Lots of reasons. Peter version 1 is in the chat. This guy, Peter version 1, came and he said, he said, listen, lawyer, your viewers are calling Larry Elder a coward. So? Like, what am I supposed to do? You want me to
That's totally on
control?
you. It's
I'm
totally on
supposed
you.
to control the people who watch his opinions about stuff like a puppet or
This is
something.
this is on your mods. Your mods should be like controlling free speech in the. That's what you want. You want your mods controlling free speech in your chat there.
I don't know what he wants to happen, or like why is the thing. He said, and I was like, why do you care? And he said, they're your viewers. Okay. I didn't know that I was supposed to literally control the people who watch my show's opinion about something. But
Okay,
all
as a
right.
guest, I feel it's incumbent on me to get on this. So I'm going to try and moderate myself because I'm a mod also. I have mod status in there. So I'm going to go in there. I'm going to start knocking some sense into that rowdy crowd you call your live chat there. I'm on it.
It's just such a weird thing. It's like Yeah, people are allowed to say whatever they want. I don't care what their opinion is. Like, they can say it. What a weird. But I'm not sure about this. This speech is really boring.
Yeah, it's
like I'm sorry, Larry. I was hoping for something different. I think I don't really want to sit and dwell on Larry Elder's speech. It's not interesting to me. So far, I was hoping it would be. I was hoping he'd have some good, positive, like fire up messages or something. And these are kind of just boring topics.
I had an epiphany today that I shared.
Really?
I shared on my stream. Yeah, which is related to this whole thing, because we always see all these examples of hypocrisy that Governor Newsom will make a lockdown and go to a party like 2 days later and not wear masks and stuff like that. Nancy Pelosi and Whitmer, all of them. Every one of them, we see hypocrisy after hypocrisy, and we see it, and it's almost as if the left is blind to it. The sheep, the ones who actually support them and start there screaming at you and getting into, yelling at you on Twitter, they all seem to be blind to it. And you're like, how do you still support these a-holes who are hypocrites? They don't follow the rules. That it's always rules for thee, but not for me. That they're all these rich fat cats. Why? How does that not bother you?
Thought you were going a different route with the fat. You said fat cats. The FA sound. I was like, oh my goodness! But that's not where you went. I was like,
you ain't gonna get no clip to save of me, brother. So
I was more just like, Joe's mad or something. I don't know what's going on here.
Right. Well, so I was like, I actually had the epiphany I had today is this: they expect that from their leaders. They have they're a culture, and it was really looking at the whole reaction to the Met Gala, which made me think about this. They look at celebrities and politicians and rich, famous people as if they are superior human beings, and it's almost like they, on a subconscious level, they recognize they are the sheep. And the celebrities and the politicians, Barack Obama can have a party in Martha's Vineyard without any masks while they'll scream at you to put on a mask. Why? Because they recognize we're the sheep and the others are the shepherd. The shepherd has different rules than the sheep. The shepherd can do whatever they want to do. So Dr. Fauci can sit there. He doesn't have to wear a mask, and he can tell us what mask we need to wear because he's part of the shepherds. He's in that class of shepherds who they're all in charge, and they're superior to me. I'm superior to you right-wingers because I follow them and because I believe in science. And whatever they tell me is science and they tell me not to question it, that's what the rules of the shepherd is giving me. And that's the way the hierarchy is supposed to work. So there's no such thing as hypocrisy. It's not like Nancy Pelosi is breaking a rule. No, she's not the same class as you or me. She is in the elite.
Yep.
Obama's in the elite. So when they do it, it's not hypocrisy. They're just living the way they should be living. And if I was special like them, if I was a politician, if I was rich, I was famous, if I was a Kardashian, if I'm AOC, I can go to the Met Gala and not wear a mask and basically, clown around with everyone because then I would be in the elite. I'm not. She is. So she's in that status. Rules do not apply to them. That is what they accept that we reject outright. And
Can you imagine paying $30,000 a ticket and someone telling you when you show up, you have to wear a mask? I mean, if you want a basic economics lesson on why none of them had to wear masks, if you pay $30,000 for a ticket to anything and you show up and they're like, "Oh, you got to do this," you'd be like, "Yeah, I paid $30,000 to be here. I don't think I have to do anything."
And that's why the hypocrisy of her being the biggest socialist, in the country and wearing and selling a hoodie that says "Tax the Rich" for $60. The worst capitalist in the world, and then a dress which says "Tax the Rich," which I'm sure that dress cost her $10,000, and no one they don't see it as hypocrisy because they expect different rules for leaders, so it's not hypocritical.
Did you see the picture I have pulled up?
What do we got here? What the hell is that?
It's Biden.
Yeah, I got that.
A bunch of kids, but start to look at the kids. Start to pay attention to what's going on with these kids.
Oh, the one next to him, who's got that creepy smile on her face, where she's like, "He's touching my back."
He's not touching her back. He's touching her side. You can see his fingers down here.
Yeah, that's true.
But look at her hat. And this one's hat. And this kid's shirt over here.
Oh my god. Oh my god. What the hell happened there? Where was that?
I don't know. It was something that just happened the other day.
That girl definitely looks like she's very uncomfortable with the hand on her hip.
Well, of course she is. Yeah, it's horrifying. But yeah. So anyway, god damn it. So this yeah, you're right. You're right. It's rules.
I was gonna say I'm giving you a whole epiphany here, and you're just like you're going elsewhere on me. It's very disheartening.
I wanted to show you the picture. No, you're right, because the whole idea is that the people have like accepted that the elites will do what the elites will do, and they just make rules for the rest of us.
Right.
We don't ask for consistency. We don't ask for them to follow their own thing. Now on the vaccines or whatever, they all did their show, right? They all got the show poke at the beginning. Then it kind of stopped. But that was look, peasants, we're doing it too. I mean, you can never actually verify that they did it. What's interesting to me is like, okay, you're doing whatever with the vaccines, but again, when it comes to lockdowns, this is long before you were vaccinated or vaccines were even in existence. You were breaking your own rules. You've been breaking your own rules. As Larry Elder pointed out, as CBS also pointed out, one of the main drivers of the recall of Gavin Newsom was the fact that he broke his own rules and went to this restaurant indoors when no one else in the state is allowed to eat gathered indoors.
Yeah. And that, so why is that forgiven? Why did they not say, you know what, this guy's a hypocrite, let's throw him out? And this is why. Because they expect that the Gavin Newsoms of the world will operate by different rules. They're subjugating, they willfully subjugate themselves to an acceptance that their status is lower than these other people and they should be operating with crappier rules. Just give me my swill and you guys go do your parties. That's fine. Just as long as I have my swill, and you know, that's okay if I have much harsher rules than you expect to live by. And I don't expect you to live by the same rules I live by. That's what they accept upon themselves, that people on the right say, are you out of your mind? Are you out of your mind? Like, how does that, what the hell are you talking about here? And that's why they get, there's no kickback on it. There's no reaction to it. There's no, oh my God, what the hell is, you know, why is Nancy going to a party to get her hair done? You know, there's nothing to it because that is built into their expectation model. And by the way, that's also why when you give different messaging, you saw what happened with Joy Reid and Nicki Minaj, that feud that's going on there.
There's a feud between Nicki Minaj and Joy Reid.
Yes, this is a big news story. This has been like on all the news outlets. I don't know how you missed this.
I missed it because I, don't care about Joy Reid or Nicki Minaj. But but I will say, I have seen Nicki Minaj came out against vaccines, right? Or vaccine mandates, or she came out against something.
Well, yeah. So Nicki Minaj basically said, "I'm not going to the Met Gala because I had to get a vaccine to go there, and I'm not taking no damn shot to go to the Met Gala. And if I get it, I'm going to get it on my own terms." Joy Reid is like, "How the hell you?" She's like, and she said, and I happen to have a relative who had X experience. I don't want to detail more because then I'm going to have to say the N word or you'll be mad at me. So I'm not going to detail it any further, other than saying she wasn't happy with certain stories she heard, and that's why she has concerns, and she's not going to do it. So,
well, I don't think it's.
Or she wants to assess it further. She wants to assess it further. She said.
Yeah, I don't think it's a violation of the terms of service to say that some people have had adverse reactions to the vaccine, up to and including death.
Right. So
that's a real thing that has happened. It doesn't mean that anybody else taking the vaccine is going to die from it, but some people. Yeah, with anything like this, numbers dictate you're gonna have some people with bad reactions. It's just
so
it's the way it
right.
goes.
Well, her cousin apparently had some sort of testicular issue and is sterile now, so that's why she said, "I want to research it further before I decide what's right for me."
Did you say a testicular issue?
That's what she said.
Does Nicki Minaj have testicles?
I've never examined that closely.
Why is she worried about this?
I'm just telling you. I'm telling you what happened. Don't ask questions on a story. This is just the story. So I'm giving you the news because you don't have like a newspaper or whatever
dear
in
God.
Minnesota.
Terrible.
Your internet is very glitchy or something. So
Yes.
So Joy Reid apparently was very outraged by this, saying, "How dare you break from this and not tell everyone that they must get a vaccine?" And she went on TV and basically was blasting Nikki for telling people not to get a vaccine. And Nikki's reaction was like, "What? What you talking about? I didn't tell anyone not to get a vaccine. I didn't say that. I've been telling people to get a vaccine. Why are you going on TV lying on me?" And some people, and then she started saying how Joy Reid is what's the word that liberals use for blacks who go Republican?
An Uncle Tom?
Yes, but Uncle Tomiana or something like that.
An Aunt Tamina or whatever?
Yeah, something like that. So she started saying that Joy Reid is like an Uncle Tom and that she's blasting Nicki Minaj to serve her white masters. Which is like, and that's why, like, stuff like that, how do you not enjoy, like, seeing two crazy liberals going after each other? That's like delicious news. I mean, you have to enjoy that, right?
I was too busy learning about Kamala Harris's stepdaughter, Ella Emhoff, as she channels her menstrual cycle at the Met Gala. You see this?
The Taliban looks so attractive now, I'm telling you.
Did you notice the big news is her unibrow? I'm not kidding. She wore a unibrow and this
what the hell is that
outfit here? So there you go.
What is that?
It's her menstrual cycle in a dress with a pair of Nikes.
Oh, that's supposed to look like ovaries? Is that what that's supposed to be? Her like the whole design of it is supposed to be like ovaries?
I guess. That's
They're
what it's
so weird. They are so weird.
Fucking unibrow.
My God. That's really unfortunate. That really is. Wow.
The Met Gala. So Grimes, which is like Elon Musk's wife, right?
I believe you.
Oh, how do you not know about all these celebrities? Oh my God.
No, that's my point. I know nothing. I didn't even know there was such a thing as the Met Gala until yesterday. And that's only because I happened to go on Teen Vogue because I wanted to find something funny I could rank on for my show. And I was like, I didn't even know what the hell the Met Gala is. And I made my audience promise they will not explain to me what the hell it is, what happens there, what the whole purpose of it is. Apparently it's an annual thing because one of the articles in Teen Vogue was, here are people who made their debut, as if this is like an annual thing. Like,
listen to Joe over here pretending he's not reading Teen Vogue every day. Like, look, I just went to Teen Vogue one time. Just one time.
Yeah.
Stop it.
Yeah. Okay. You caught me on the guilty pleasure. Yeah, that's me. That's me.
Oh my God! Someone pointed out this. I didn't even notice this. Oh! Look at the mustache on this chick.
Oh yeah. I think maybe that's why she's got the stuff on her eyes, so you don't notice the facial hair everywhere else.
That is.
I think if we look long enough, we'll probably find a beard.
Is she juicing? Like, what is going on with that? Very awkward. So anyway, the Met Gala. So Elon Musk's wife Grimes goes to the Met Gala, and she is wielding a sword from some project, the MHSCF or something, that they take AR-15s and melt them down and forge a sword out of them and send the sword back to you. So they claim. Now, if these guys are smart, what they're doing is hoarding a bunch of AR-15s and sending people a bunch of swords that are made out of like kitchen pots or something.
Yeah, they can send me a lightsaber also. What? They're coming after our guns. I'm telling you, I'm smelling it coming.
Yeah, but can we stop this? Stop taking guns and making, like, people are cheering on this project. Well, like, such a statement, blah, blah, blah. But not just the news people. People on Twitter like, that's such a Grimes thing to do. It's so cool. As if they know anything about fucking Grimes. They're like, that's such a Grimes thing to do. That's so awesome. It's not awesome to take a gun and make it into an inferior implement.
Yeah. Let me ask you this. You think they'd be okay with you carrying a sword around? I don't think you think they'd be great with that? I don't think they'd be good with that either. But
they're okay with it. I mean, I guess I can look this up real quick.
Who is this Grimes? Like
Elon Musk's wife.
What's her first name?
Grimes.
That's her first name?
Yeah, it's also
It's
her.
Grimes Musk. That's her name, Grimes Musk.
I think she's just Grimes.
Like Cher.
Yeah. Here you go.
Lord.
That's her. That's her wielding her.
That looks like a crappy sword.
It's yeah. I mean,
swords are not supposed to be shaped like a V.
The metal that is used in an AR-15, I don't know if that's ideal sword metal.
It doesn't look like one of those things that they fold the steel over 1,000 times and beat it. You know, I want to. If they're gonna turn your AR-15 into a sword, that thing better be like samurai level. I don't want to know none of these crappy things that look like some kid's lightsaber that you swing around there.
Joe's out here while you've been studying law. I've been studying the blade. This katana is folded over 1,000 times.
You never seen those things where they talk about like how the samurais have these blades that have been like they take the steel and they fold in and beat it down and fold it again and beat it down.
Yes, I do know the process of forging a folded steel blade. I've watched several blacksmith videos and documentaries. Yeah.
All right. So what are you making? Like I got like some weird creepy sword fetish or something here. You just like that wasn't cool.
I'm just saying. It was just funny. That's why I was laughing. I'm like, Joe's.
What's with the face mask? Like I just everything about these celebrities. It's like they're so. The goal is how much can I out weird everyone else?
I'm surprised I can even show this on YouTube. It's just got her ass hanging out, basically. This is the design of the dress. I got a news flash. It didn't end up looking like the picture here.
No.
All of these.
Oh, someone brought his blanket.
Outfits are terrible.
Is that her blanket? What? That looks like a quilt.
No, that's her beard. That's a joke. Yeah, all these people look. I could not. Oh, we could check out what Emily Ratajkowski wore. That would be okay, but I'm not gonna. I've got. I do have some chats to read here, and then I've got some things to discuss. Where did my chat window go? Where is it? Here it is.
By the way, did you hear about how Andy No was dropped by one of his sponsors because of cancel culture?
Yes, I've been talking about it. Surfshark. Everybody should stop buying Surfshark, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But that's up to them to do. I already don't purchase Surfshark services. So.
Right.
But yeah, an Antifa guy told a lie about Andy No. Mm-hmm. Surfshark cut him without even looking into it. Yeah. And then they like doubled down when people
were
so
proud of it. Like, oh, we didn't know how terrible he was. We're so glad that you alerted us to us so we can remedy this situation. And then they come public to Tim Pool and they're like, we're not taking sides.
Yeah. Yeah. Johawa Al-Hamar says, here's $20 to ask Mr. Jewman about the oven of Achnai, a Talmudic story in which the Sanhedrin disobeys a direct order from God and ends with him saying, my children have defeated me. They have defeated me.
That's not a real story. I never heard this story. Let me see the spelling on that. Hold on. Can you share that with me?
Yeah. What do you want? Me to type it in private chat?
How do I don't even understand how that's spelled. Pronounce it one more time. Just tell me how it's pronounced.
Well, oven of Achnai. I'm going to type it in the private chat.
Oven of Achnai.
I spelled it Avern because I can't type, but oven of...
Right.
Yeah, A-K-H-N-A-I.
I don't know what he's talking about. The only oven story that I know of from all of Torah is Abraham being thrown into a furnace for sticking by his monotheistic beliefs. And that's not written explicitly. That's actually a story that sages derive. That he actually was thrown in a furnace because they want him to reject monotheism and accept polytheism. And that he miraculously survived.
Reasonable.
And that he miraculously survived. So that was that's the only oven story I'm familiar with.
Tom Bombathrill says, jokes on you, I already live here. He already lives in California. So I mean, I think
So someone's got to give you another $100 now to top
101. They got to
Yeah.
give 101.
You got to
But
give
no,
$100 to get him to move. Yeah.
Right now, he has to move to another place in California. That seems worse. To move from California to California seems like a real
I don't know. If we look into the terms of his deal, his offer, he said, I'll move to whatever state gets the highest super chat. So I think he can say, I'm here. I don't think he's got to move. I'm in your corner there, brother.
Yeah, Joe, you fail. It's a Talmudic story. You're being yelled at by the chat. How dare you not know all of them?
What story?
The oven of a...
Did you find this on Wikipedia?
I didn't find it. The other person wrote it. I don't know what you're talking
Oven
about.
of...
Scrix says, thanks to both of you for making my overnight retail job less of a slog. Have some dosh. And D-Day Cobra, what's up? Geeks and Gamers, Jeremy says, thanks for coming on the Geeks and Gamers stream tonight. Oh, I came all over it. It was great. It was a very good show. No, thanks for having me, buddy. And we'll see you again soon, of course. Of course. I got to get him back on this show. I think I had him on, or did I just go on his? Did he grift me?
Who?
Am I grifted? Jeremy from Geeks and Gamers. I'm trying to remember if I've ever had him on this show. I have.
Yeah, I got to book you on my show for next week. Next
week, huh?
Yeah.
What for? What are we going to talk about?
Well, first of all, it's our monthly. I think we're due for our monthly drink-a-thon.
Oh, it's a monthly drink-a-thon. Oh, good God.
The people have demanded it. I'm not familiar with this story, which they're talking about comes down in the Talmud. I'm actually reading it on Wikipedia right now. You have to understand that the Talmud is 2,000 pages, and you can literally spend 12 hours on one page without, and
I
still
can't
not finish it.
I cannot spend 12 hours on one page.
I'm just saying. So that's why, when you tell me about some story that's brought down in Talmud, I'm not familiar with it. That I'm not really embarrassed about it because there's a lot of stuff in Talmud I'm not familiar with.
Well, okay, Mister whatever.
It's 2,000 pages, literally.
Oh, I'm sorry that it's too many pages for you to read about God
in Aramaic. Yes, in Aramaic.
Why don't you know Aramaic?
I do know Aramaic. I read Aramaic, but it's not quite as fast.
Do you write Aramaic?
I could. If you want me to start writing Aramaic here. They use Hebrew letters, so
it's like cheating then.
Yeah.
Okay, I got to talk about this. Because we've got Vito. We've got to talk about Vito.
What happened between you? I never heard of this guy Vito until I saw something you yelling at him on Twitter, and you seem really upset with him. I was like,
yeah.
Nick's losing it at this dude, and I looked him up, and he's some fat. He looks like a guy who's never had a girlfriend in his life, and apparently has like 200,000 subs or something. He's got more subs than you.
Yeah, he does. Yeah. He's had a couple videos that have done multiple million views.
Is that what it is?
And yeah, that'll do it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Let's go back to the beginning and talk about this. I can't actually do it very easily because he deleted the original tweet. But it starts here. I'll catch you up briefly and then we'll talk about the rest of it.
Mm-hmm.
It starts here. Vito. So Alex Jones went on Friday Night Tights. So today I was on Geeks and Gamers with Jeremy. And then Friday Night Tights is another show that the same kind of crew do on Nerdrotic's channel. And they got Alex Jones on Friday. They had like over 16,000 people watching. It's a big stream. And it was, Alex is high energy, talking about globalists, talking about the CIA.
He's a great lead. He's a great listen. He's amazing.
Yeah. You don't even have to agree with him or like him or whatever. He's a charismatic, entertaining guy. And he's going to get his points out, and he's going to do it in a way that is engaging. And you don't have to agree. I don't agree with plenty of things Alex Jones says, and it's just fine. Somehow I'm okay, and that's great. But he was on Friday Night Tights, and Vito got very mad that Vito has never been on Friday Night Tights. If we want to get down to the ultimate thing, that's a big thing. Is Vito's mad that he's never been on Friday Night Tights, and they don't have any interest in bringing him on.
So he has Alex envy, basically. You're saying
he has Friday Night Tights envy.
Right, but I'm saying is
because despite having
has recognized Alex and not recognized him, so that's why I'm saying he's got Alex envy.
Despite having a big channel, like Vito's channel on most things doesn't do all that well. He doesn't upload a lot of content, and maybe that's the thing. Maybe he's not focused on it, and that's fine. But it's not like he has this large amount of pull or anything. But anyway, so. He gets mad at them, and so he tags YouTube. He tags Team YouTube and says that Alex Jones is saying things against the terms of service on Nerdrotic's channel. YouTube actually responds to him right here. Now, this is his deleted tweet still. Thanks for passing this along to us. We recommend reporting videos and channels that you think are violative so our team can look into it and take appropriate action. Here's how. Reach out if you have other questions.
Wow.
So Team
What
YouTube
a
gives
jerk.
Exactly. They give the response and he is done this. Now he goes later and deletes the tweet because everybody's calling him out for being a shit, right? Like that's what happened.
Right.
So then I go on the Dick Show. Call in and talk. I was already going to call into the Dick Show this Sunday. It was one of the first. It was the first Sunday I've had available in a while to actually go on the show. So I was really excited to call in. And then this happened, and I texted him. I'm like, I'm definitely calling in, right? Like just reminding him. And so I called in, got to talk to Vito. It was like talking to a wall. Because
so wait, you yelled at him on the Dick Show for ratting out Nerdrotic?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah. And here, I'll pull this down for now. But so the idea is simple. You don't have to agree with other people's speech. You don't have to agree. You don't have to like it. You don't even have to listen. But as
calling for cancel culture, there's something wrong with you. There's something wrong with you.
Especially as a content creator, right? And a double especially because you don't know anything about the Dick Show, I presume. Dick has Vito as a co-host on his other show, The Biggest Problem in the Universe. Dick has been canceled by cancel culture multiple times, including creating a Patreon alternative called New Project 2 and people making up fake stories about New Project 2 and reporting them to the MasterCard police, and MasterCard canceled New Project 2. They shut it down straight from the top. And so you're on the show of a guy who's been impacted with cancel culture.
Who's been victimized by cancel culture, and you're calling for cancel culture of someone else.
Yeah.
Which basically makes you the biggest tool possible.
It's complete. Yeah, it's complete bullshit to do this. So I go on there and call him out. And his underlying argument, and this is important to get to, is focused on what Alex Jones said. And he says that Alex Jones said that vaccines will liquidate your internal organs, which is not actually what Alex Jones said. Now, I hadn't actually watched the episode of Friday Night Tights, so I didn't even know this, but I watched it today and got extra pissed because he's arguing on a completely false premise. In just a second, I'll
were there ramifications? Like, did YouTube do anything with the show?
They have not yet, so hopefully they will not. But again, it doesn't. To me, that is actually a secondary issue. Because
I know, I understand that. You're saying it's the actions that you're taking. What happens with we're all responsible for our own actions, and what actually ends up flowing from that's almost beyond it. The question is, what are you doing? and assessing that. It was your actions proper or improper. And you're saying the context of who this guy is and who his co-host is, all the more so, and him just being a content creator, all the more so that for him to call for cancel culture makes him the biggest jackass imaginable. And I concur.
Right.
Yes.
Sleazy says Nerdrotic said it got monetized today. I want you guys to know one thing about monetization and community guidelines. Monetized videos and community guidelines are two separate pillars in YouTube that do not talk to each other. So a monetized video can still be violative of community guidelines. And they did that intentionally so that community guidelines flagging cannot impact monetization in a false way. It's actually one of the smart things that YouTube has done. So a bunch of people can flag a stream and or a video or whatever, and it will not impact monetization based on the community guidelines reports. It'll obviously bring more attention, and it's more likely to get the stream or video taken down if there is some content that is borderline, but it won't affect monetization unless the stream or the video itself is removed. So I want to clear that up, that just having it monetized doesn't mean it's immune from community guideline strikes. And my guideline strikes came on monetized videos. So it's weird. But
Just
that's
so wait,
how it goes.
have you ever gotten a strike?
On my alternate channel, I have a warning on this channel, and I had a full-on strike on my alternate channel.
It's still within the 90 days?
No, it's gone now. It fell
Okay.
off.
Mm.
But I did have one. So I want to play what Alex Jones said, because this I want to clear up. Vito's entire argument is that Alex Jones said vaccines will liquidate your organs. And so he said that Alex Jones is spreading misinformation and disinformation that will kill people. That's Vito's argument. That is his moral justification for this. So let's see. Here's Alex Jones's story on this.
Place in Connecticut where children got shot. And the school administrator
Comes right after
says,
this.
I think there's a lot of evidence that this doesn't, look like it holds up, because this big internet thing. And then the CIA former Black Ops commander says, no, Alex, it didn't happen. And they give me good info before. So then later I thought, well, they set me up so they could then say, oh, look, Alex Jones doesn't think kids died. Well, here's an example.
Here we
They're
go.
saying that all these people that have heart attacks and die from the vaccine, even when the doctor confirms it, aren't real. And the Democrats and liberals, who are now these cultists of big pharma, are worshiping it and covering up and censoring local news when the doctor says a 39-year-old mother dies after she gets one of these vaccines, liquefied her organs. So they're denying people are dying from a shot because...
Okay, very important thing happened there. I hope we all caught it. Alex Jones is making a comparison to accusations of him calling or referring to Sandy Hook students as a false flag event or something like that. And then he's turning that around on Democrats who are now using the same arguments they accuse him of using, even though he actually didn't use them in as much of a way, but that's a separate story. The same arguments they accuse him of using, they're using against people who have had adverse reactions to the vaccine. He is not actually out here saying that the vaccine does this and therefore you shouldn't get it. He's not talking about that at all. He's
talking about the whole process that they used is that right. Okay, go on.
Right. He's making the comparison and pointing out the hypocrisy of the people who are going after him, doing the exact same thing they accuse him of doing. That's the entire point. And for Vito to come out there and to say that that's what Alex is doing. And Vito's just out there saving lives. The fattest motherfucker I've seen in years is out there just saving lives.
By the way, that's the thing. Biden supposedly was trying to save lives, which he ain't. He doesn't give a damn if anyone gets vaccinated, if they don't get vaccinated. He does not care. He almost is happier if there are a certain percentage of people who are not vaccinated, because then he can call them all crazy Trumpers and all the problems of our economy. And the reason Afghanistan is blowing up, the reason we have hostages in Afghanistan that no one wants to talk about, we have probably 1,000 hostages, American hostages in Afghanistan. It's all because there's certain Trumpers who don't want to get vaccinated. So he's very happy about that. If every person in America got vaccinated, he would be freaking out. So this whole disingenuous thing that they care about your health. You want to know the proof that Biden doesn't care about your health? If he cared about your health, this is what he would say: less cheeseburgers. smaller portions, fatty. That's what he would have said. Because if you're healthy, you're far less likely to die from COVID. That's science. That's actual, real science, as improvable, quantifiable, empirical science. Fewer cheeseburgers. That's what you need to do. Did he suggest that at all? It's just, hey, instead of taking an escalator, maybe use the stairs next time. No, he didn't suggest that because it's not as if the Democratic Party woke up and started caring about the lives of Americans. They don't give a damn about that. They care about amassing power and maintaining power and messaging and dividing us so that we're all basically, so that they can say those are the bad guys and we're the good guys, vote for us. Otherwise, these bad guys, Trump, if Newsom is lost, next thing you know, Trump's going to be president of America. That's all about messaging and dividing. That's all they care about. They don't care about our health. They don't care about whether or not people actually take the vaccine. They just want to alienate, say, you're evil, you're a bad person, we're the good people, and all the sane people, i.e. all the she people, they should vote for us because we're going to take care of you and protect you from those racist, evil, stupid Neanderthal, science-denying jerks who basically don't care about anyone but themselves and are pretty stupid at the same time. But the proof that they don't care about that is the first thing they should be telling their people if they actually give a damn about them is, hey, you know what? Try running on a treadmill a little bit. Just a little bit. Maybe you'll be healthier, less likely to die from COVID. That's how we know.
Yeah, well, and the something you're hitting on here is the entire purpose of this is to create a second class. They've created it. The unvaccinated are going to be. They know they don't have Trump anymore. They knew that Gavin Newsom was going to win the California election. You can take that how you will. They knew that he was going to win the recall election, and that because Gavin had set up Trump, like this is a fight against Trump. They don't have a fight against Trump right now. They may have one in 2024. They may have one against Trumpism in some way in 2022. But right now they don't, and they need a scapegoat class, and they've created one. The unvaccinated will be dragging down the economy. The unvaccinated will be why you have to still wear a mask or whatever. The unvaccinated will be causing the deaths of everybody else. Yes. Somehow they will be. Whether or not the unvaccinated person ever gets COVID, they will somehow have caused the death of hundreds over in Kyrgyzstan or something. That'll be their fault. And so it's all too convenient to have a class of people that can be the lesser class. And oh my God, that reminds me of something I wanted to talk about earlier.
But can you imagine if everyone actually got vaccinated? Who would he blame for the crappy employment, for our crappy economy? What's he going to do? He's going to say it's all because of the Jews? What's he going to say?
That's what I'm going to say.
He has no one left to blame. So this is like, he loves there being an unvaccinated class to target and blame everything on.
Here we go. That just reminded me of this. This is part of my liberty talk that I had planned. Jeff Tiedrick says, what kind of shithole country lets a tiny extremist minority fuck everything all the hell for the rest of us? Democracy, I'll say it again. Democracy is the only system of government on earth worse than communism.
It is. Awful. Awful.
These people want the rights of the minority to be snuffed out in favor of the majority. They always have. They want the minorities that they like to become the majorities so that their rights aren't snuffed out. But this is what they want. They don't understand that America is the system that bucked this trend. They created a representative government. They balanced the power of the states by having 2 senators for every single state rather than having everything controlled by that, in the same way as the House is. They did this for the purpose of fighting the tyranny of the majority. That's the system we live in. That's what's made America great. That is how we got to where we are. That is, frankly, let's be honest about this. This is why minorities have rights and I mean racial minorities versus this guy's talking about the people who are opposed to vaccines. Like that's what he's after here. But this is why minority populations have rights in America, because if the majority, as they say, it's really easy to suppress the lesser guy. Like, who cares?
Yeah. What's funny is that I saw a clip today from Jimmy Fallon saying the only real real reaction you'll ever see from Jimmy Fallon. And it's a monologue that he's given where he goes, so the census results came out today, and it turns out that for the first time in the history of America, we have fewer white people here now than we did during the last census. And the crowd started whooping and cheering, and his initial reaction was like he sort of like he was like, what the hell? Like people are happier that there's like, it's not that there's smaller percentage, like in total numbers there are fewer white people than there were 10 years ago. And that's like, and that's when he sort of like realized, like it's like the, like when they
hate you, Jimmy Fallon.
They hate you. They do. They can't stand you. You're like, you know, okay, you're in the elite, so they're sort of torn about what to do with you.
Yep. It's crazy town. That is the thing. Oh God, what was I gonna talk about next? Oh yeah, we're going to completely switch subjects now. So is there anything more you want to say on this subject? We can come back to it.
Rant over. I'm good. Let's go.
Okay. This news story is about a YouTuber. This is about a YouTuber. Check this out. Have you seen this story? It's everywhere right now. Missing Gabby Petito. Fiance's attorney says search underway in Grand Teton after his return to Florida. Petito and Laundrie were road tripping across the U.S. in a white Ford Transit van. They had a YouTube channel where they talked about their van life on the road trip. They documented their road trip together. They get to the Grand Teton Mountains, and somehow the guy returns home without his fiance, and she is missing.
What's his explanation?
He hasn't given one. They're just very concerned for the missing woman, apparently. But his family has advised him and the family to take a back seat to the investigation and let the authorities. How many ways did he murder this girl?
Wow. I mean, it almost looks as if you can see like he's like just about to flip her over the back of that railing.
This
that
dude.
Picture.
This dude.
It's like. This picture is like Exhibit 4 in the state's case against Laundrie. Oh my gosh!
If this guy didn't kill this girl, I don't know what I'll eat. I have no idea what I can possibly eat as compensation. I've got hard money on this guy being the murderer.
Yeah, this is open and shut. It is over and shut.
Search effort for a missing New York woman underway in Wyoming, while her fiance, whom she was traveling across the country with, is back in Florida at his parents' house. I don't know about you guys out in the audience. Not all of you are married. Some of you guys, are not big fans of relationships, and that's cool. I can tell you, if when I was engaged to Lady Rackets, if my fiance and I went somewhere and she went missing, I would not return home. Like that's not.
Well, okay, so I can tell you now. I'm gonna you're the defense counsel. I'll tell you what his defense is going to be: is that they had an argument, and they broke up, and that they parted ways, and that she was totally fine when he last saw her, and whatever, and that's going to be his explanation. Of course, when you have an argument with someone, and the next thing you know they go missing, that's kind of.
I don't think he's going to have an argument with her.
You don't think he's going to admit that? He's going to be like, you know what? We just decided to part ways.
No, he's going to say, you know what? I woke up and she was gone. I don't know what happened. She let,
That's better.
I woke up in the van, and she wasn't there anymore. We were out in the mountains. We were camping. We got sidetracked. We didn't go to a motel or anything that night. We just slept under the stars in the van, and I woke up and she was gone. I don't know if she went out to go. I don't know if an animal got her. I don't know if she wandered off. Yeah, like I didn't know what to do. The only thing I could think of was I got to get back home. I got to tell her family. Hopefully we can get a search effort. But what am I going to do? Look for her in the middle of the mountains? I don't know anything about mountains. Look at me.
First question is, why didn't you call the police?
Look. I've never even heard of a phone before. How am I supposed to call the police? What is even calling the police do? What number do I call? Joe? I don't know what number to even call. Like, what do you call in a number like this?
If you're his defense counsel, you're just praying they never find the body.
His defense counsel has got him doing, the right thing right now for defending the case.
Say nothing, and pray they never find the body.
Yeah, here's statement from counsel for the family. This is understandably an extremely difficult time for both the family and they have it cropped.
Yeah, that's weird.
Both the Petito family and the Laundrie family. It is our understanding that a search has been organized for Miss Petito in or near Grand Teton National Park in Wyoming. On behalf of the Laundrie family, it is our hope that the search for Miss Petito is successful and that Miss Petito is reunited with her family. On the advice of counsel, the Laundrie family is remaining in the background at this juncture and will have no further comment.
Well, good for him, because this is actually a good lesson for your audience, that like a situation like this, you definitely do not want to talk to the police. You don't,
or the press.
You want to, and by the way, you can't even talk to like your friend or anyone. You can't talk to your parents. You just cannot talk to anyone, because even it's not hearsay that's going to be like, oh, I can keep it out with hearsay. No. It's an admission against interest. And once it's an admission against interest, you are now, that is something they can use against you. It's an exception to hearsay, and you will get screwed in court. So you just have to keep your mouth, take it to the grave, or at least until the trial is over. And then you can't be, no double jeopardy. So there you go.
He sent her right back to the proverbial streets, the streets in the mountains.
Yeah.
And the Florida police call missing woman's case odd. Word this. But yeah, so they described
how long?
5'5", weighing 110 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
She's not a big girl. She has blonde hair and blue eyes and several tattoos, including one on her finger and one on her forearm that reads "Let it be."
Okay, so here's the question for you. You're laying money that he offed her.
He definitely killed her.
Oh, I'm sure of it. But my question is, do you think he'll be indicted before the end of the month?
No, I think before the end of October, but not September.
It's going to take a while because they're going to do the whole search thing.
Yeah,
because the last thing the state wants, maybe he took Attorney Tom's advice and he found that no dead zone in whatchamacallit, in Yellowstone Park, which is like federal land, and that's going to be his whole defense thing. Did you see that video he did?
I didn't see the video Tom did, but I saw a bunch of people talking about it for a while.
He has 2 million views on that. And basically there's an area in Yellowstone in Idaho, which is like, you cannot be prosecuted. I disagree with his logic there that he made in the video, but I was like, I'm not going to sit here getting down with the whole thing. But
good logic calls out Attorney Tom.
I am calling you out. Is Attorney here? Are you watching us, Attorney Tom? Because my question to you is,
he only watches the first hour pretty much, and then he's asleep. He's
all right.
Well,
in his thing, he basically claims that it's got to go back to Idaho, but there's no one who lives in that district. I don't think the fact that that's because no one lives in Yellowstone, that's in the Yellowstone.
So it wouldn't just be a federal murder?
Well, apparently it gets turned over to the state, but it has to, by law, it has to go to. Yeah, I don't. He has a whole complicated explanation, and when I heard it, I was like.
I mean, I saw a lot of people talking about it back for a while, like news articles about it and stuff like that. So
next time you have him on, just bring me on here for like 10 minutes, and we're going to hash this out with him.
Yeah, we'll have some lawyer blood sports.
There you go.
There you go.
Great. He seems pretty cool. I actually like him. So.
He's great. He's super nice. That's what makes him great. Is that he's super nice.
So getting back to this, I mean, I was sort of a tangent that we were talking about this story here with Laundrie and Petito. I think that the worst thing for a state ever is you prosecute someone for a murder and then you find her like alive somewhere. So I think they're going to want to exhaust that.
And the hardest part about a murder trial is not having a body.
Yeah. It makes it really, really hard to get a conviction. So.
What about this one? This is a controversial topic. Okay. This is thought crime in some ways, but it's sensitive thought crime. So here we go. quote, this could have turned disastrous. 2 middle schoolers studied Columbine shooting when plotting similar attack, deputies say, and they've been charged with conspiracy to commit a mass shooting. So middle-aged school recently avoided tragedy, say local authorities. So do you think, what now, based on the things so far, I'm going to not let you read the rest. Based on this so far, what happened? Remember, the school district has narrowly avoided tragedy, and the authorities said that these 2 kids have been studying Columbine.
So now, based on my knowledge of the term conspiracy, there obviously had to be conversation and an overt act in order for it to qualify as being conspiracy to commit a crime. If they actually had attempted to kill anyone, in that case, they would have had to like fire a weapon in someone's direction. So an overt act can be relatively small, I think. Even if they bought a gun and they've talked about it and then bought a gun, in theory, they probably could be charged, even though I don't think that would be considered an overt act. But, maybe drawing up plans for like mimicking Columbine, that probably is like what happened.
Let's see. 2 teenage boys plotted a shooting, and in preparing for this, they even studied a similar attack from more than 2 decades ago, according to the Lee County Sheriff's Office. Connor Pruitt, 13, and Philip Bird were arrested in each, 14, were arrested in each face a count of conspiracy to commit a mass shooting. This could have turned disastrous, Sheriff Carmine Marcino said. We were 1 second away from a Columbine here.
1 second. Wow, so it must have got much closer than I thought.
Under Florida law, authorities are allowed to release certain juvenile records, including a defendant's name and photograph, if the crime the juvenile is suspected of committing would be a felony if it was alleged to be committed by an adult, which basically is any crime. Like that means that under Florida law, there is no juvenile protection for a felony act. According to Marcino, a teacher at Harns Marsh Middle School in Lee Acres got information. Lehigh Acres got information that an 8th grade student might have a gun in a book bag. School officials took that teenager from class and searched his bag. Though they did not find any weapons, they did discover a map of the school that included markings of the interior cameras.
I nailed it. A plot with like pictures.
The investigation continued with investigators determining that Pruitt and Bird plotted a mass shooting. The duo allegedly looked close at the 1999 Columbine High School mass shooting as part of their process. I don't know what this means.
How's that relevant? That's not relevant at all. That's not relevant at all to me.
They were extensively studying to learn more about the incident and the shooters, Marcino said.
That doesn't mean anything either.
The teenagers.
Would you not argue to keep that out as being inflammatory?
Yeah, but I think the judge is going to let it in anyway.
Yeah.
The teenagers were allegedly learning how to make pipe bombs and also how to buy firearms on the black market, he said. Investigators carried out search warrants. Detectives uncovered some disturbing evidence, including a gun and several knives, the sheriff said. Marcino told reporters that deputies already knew of the teens because officials responded to their homes for calls almost 80 times combined. He did not explain the nature of these calls. Both boys were being evaluated at a mental health facility. This could have been the next Parkland massacre, but we stopped them in the planning stages.
1 second away. 1 second
away.
Melodramatic much.
See, man, this is a tough call, right? Like, this is actually this is an edge case for me.
Okay, but would they not, assuming if they were adults, would you not say that this is that meets the threshold for what's considered conspiracy to commit a crime, isn't it? You talk about it, you make a plan. I mean, I'm not sure. I mean, I think they have to actually have a certain plan in place.
You have to manifest the intent to actually plan to carry out the plan.
Right. So to my mind, I'll just tell you as far as what would be fair. If I was sitting as a judge in a case of conspiracy, I would say if they had talked about this in general and drawn up a picture like they have, even if they don't have a gun in school, was the gun in school or was not in school?
Gun was not in school.
Gun's not in school. So gun's not in school.
Don't even know technically if the guns are in the possession of the kids, right? Could be a gun in the home.
Right. Which would, and that certainly would be very relevant to me, whether or not, what the story is there. But What I would say is if they don't have a time that they haven't set down a time, fixing a time as to when they're planning on doing it. If you can't establish that, in that case, it's just a couple of kids who are like, basically LARPing,
Like
they're
studying-
LARPing and imagining that they are the Columbine, the Dylan Klebold, rather than actually having an intention to do something. If they planned a date and said, okay, next Thursday at 9:30 a.m. we're gonna bust out these things, and they have everything drawn up there, and you can establish that. Well, in that case, I would say that's conspiracy at that point, to my mind.
I mean, so some of the stuff they have against them, they were researching how to make pipe bombs. Okay, that actually isn't. In my
we can do
opinion,
that right now. We could do it on the stream right now in front of everyone. We can research how to make a pipe bomb. I don't think there's anything illegal about that.
Right, and I know when I was in high school, something that was a very popular taboo thing to talk about was the anarchist cookbook, right? Which would tell you how to make all sorts of different things for various explosive devices to any number of other stuff. So it's like that doesn't necessarily mean anything. Again, same with researching how to buy guns when you can't buy a gun because they're not 18 or whatever. That's something that some kids might do. It doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to go shoot up the school. And having a map with the cameras is not actually a plan of attack necessarily. That could be a plan to skip school, right? Here are the cameras. Here's something we need to do. A plan to commit a prank. Here's what we want to do to fill popcorn in some teacher's desk or something. I don't know. I'm kind of curious what evidence they had that they're actually plotting a mass shooting.
Let me ask you this. I want to ask you your thoughts about this. About this. They mentioned how there's 80 calls about these kids before. Okay,
right.
So, the police officers know these kids. Do you think that should factor in at all into like whether or not these kids are a realistic threat or not?
I mean, it should be excluded as inadmissible, right?
Right. I'm not talking about our American justice system. I'm just talking about as far as like, I don't know, some kids when they're plotting, you take it more seriously than other kids, and I think that's just reality. I think that's reality. Yeah. I'm not saying that I don't know how we would create a justice system which would account for that. I'm just talking about as far as like, ultimate justice. As far as like what's right and wrong,
I think it's like
the same.
I think it's like profiling, right? Like there's just a practical reality.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly profiling.
And so like racial profiling. It's like, okay, well if you're policing in an almost exclusively white neighborhood, but suddenly you've got this issue of drugs, like you've got a bunch of overdoses in the neighborhood, and then you see someone who's out of character for the white neighborhood driving in and dropping packages off. Like driving into places and dropping packages off isn't normally a thing, but based on what's going on, you're like, okay, maybe. And that's how cops operate, right? Mm-hmm. Like this is aberrant behavior or activity for the norm, and we've got something outside the norm, so let's look at it. Or if you're in an area that has a high gang involvement, like a high MS-13 presence, right? Like you're not going to be looking for the gang shooting amongst the Irish that live there. You're probably going to look at the Hispanic kids who are known to be in MS or who are suspected to be in MS-13. It's a practical reality of police work, but it's also become verboten in America, right? You can't do it anymore.
Okay, so I wasn't talking about the American justice system. I was talking about just as far as justice.
Right. No, but I'm saying that yes, practically speaking, if you've got 80 calls out to some kids' houses because. I don't know if it's related to the kids or the parents. Yeah, you got to factor in, like these kids are troubled. Maybe they're going through bad things. Maybe the parents are beating them or whatever. Maybe
they could be victims themselves. I'm not disputing that for sure.
Yeah, it's a tough one. I think
I'm sure they don't have great parenting. That I'm pretty confident about.
Kind of seem. Look, 80 police calls between the two of them. is a lot of police calls.
It really is. I
Most
think.
most teenagers go through their
What were
entire
they?
life
13
without-
and 14.
Yes.
So, like, I mean, how old were they when they got the first police call on them?
Yeah, the thing that bothers me is it doesn't say what the police calls were about. I'm kind of curious how many police calls are on the kids versus on the parents. That's what I want to know. You know, involving the kids could be the parents have beat the kids. The school is calling because kids showed up with bruises or black eyes. You don't know what's going on, right?
Right.
So I don't know. Mandy Carvicia says, "Hello, Logic. Hello, Nick. Is that Nick? Hello, Nick. Why didn't you go full mohawk? Look, I wanted to look like Ryan Cannell, RK Outpost. That's what I was going for. That's what I'm after. That's what I need in my life.
Beautiful.
Oh my God. Okay. It's like 1:15. The California thing was just a complete flop.
Yeah, that was a total disaster there.
There's just nothing.
That was like 20 minutes of dead air.
Yeah. I wonder if Larry Elder, he's done talking now. How long was his speech? Let me see if I can find out how long he spoke. 30 minutes.
Well, and 25 of it was thanking people.
That speech dragged on for 30 minutes. Oh my God, I don't want to watch it. I don't want to watch that. That's for sure. Let's see if CBS still has their live coverage.
By the police.
No, CBS does not have their live coverage anymore. There's still 290 people in their chat. What was the last thing that happened? What is this? What is this? What do we got? Oh, hey, it's talking about the same case we were talking about. Let's see we got to see what CBS has to say about this chick, right?
About Petito?
Yeah, the brilliant legal minds at CBS.
You didn't. Okay.
With identifying information for situations just like this.
Yes.
David Begno, CBS News.
A search is underway for a woman who disappeared during a cross-country road trip with her fiancé. 22-year-old Gabrielle Petito was reported missing over the weekend. Her last location is believed to have been in Wyoming. Police say her fiancé is back in Northport, Florida, where the couple was living before the trip. Her parents are now making a desperate plea for help. Jerika Duncan has more.
Okay, are the parents asking the guy? Because, like, he killed your daughter, right? Like, know that he threw her off a cliff or something.
She looks like she's ready to spend this season on like in Dexter before she ends up like in a pool of blood, like right there in that freeze frame. She just reminds me of like what was that actress? The one who was she spent this season on Dexter. What was her name? She was a famous actress.
Season.
Well, she was
British
like the main
lady?
character. No, not as his love interest. It was like season like 6 or so, where the one with the roadkill guy. You remember the roadkill guy?
No, my Dexter brain always goes to the John Lithgow season because it was so good.
That was amazing. I think it was the next season. So it was yeah. I think it jumped the shark right.
Not
after.
Rita, right? Like not.
No, not Rita. No, I'm talking about
not Rita, not the British chick who is crazy.
Right. No, after Rita dies. After sorry for spoilers.
Oh, like the hippie chick that he like lives with.
He ended up saving her. Like she had been like he finds her. She basically had been kidnapped and was like held hostage by the guy.
Julia Stiles played her?
Yes.
Okay.
Julia Stiles.
Yeah, she does kind of look like Julia Stiles. That's
Thank you.
Thank you, Nozaku, for bringing her name.
Yes.
Into it. All right, here we go.
Me and Brian just got up and got ready, made the bed.
I can't fucking talk to a 22-year-old ever again in my life. Like, the way they talk is annoying.
In the tent.
Gabrielle Petito was documenting her cross-country adventure with her 23-year-old fiancé, Brian Laundrie.
Gabby Petito never goes outside.
In late August, their posts slowed down, and so did communication.
It's a nightmare. It's a parent's nightmare.
Gabby's mother, Nicole Schmidt, says she last FaceTimed her daughter on August 23rd or 24th, around the same time Gabby made this final Instagram post.
Just describe for me what you remembered. Was there anything that stood out?
She seemed fine. She was creating her new YouTube video and she was getting that posted. She was excited.
Nicole says the final text she received from her daughter's phone was on August 30th. But she would not share that message or say whether she believes if it actually came from her daughter.
Why wouldn't she share that message? Like, hopefully she shared it with authorities.
I would think she probably did.
Gabby began her...
That she doesn't know if she believes that it came from her, right? Like that indicates that message was something like, I'm tired of living. I just don't want to put up with it anymore.
Maybe.
My whole life is a sham.
Yeah.
That's what the message says.
You think that was his plan? That he basically was like, I'm going to make her sound suicidal?
Yeah, you throw her in the river when no one knows, and then you send a message later and hope that they're not able to put together the timeline, right?
Yeah.
Like he just accidentally bashed her with a rock or whatever. Like he wasn't trying. She was just so small. She was just so small. She kept whining about the instant portaloni I brought.
He's Lenny with the bunny.
Yeah. I bounced her really hard. And she stopped bouncing.
Road trip from Long Island, New York on July 2nd after visiting for her brother's graduation.
And was that the last time both of you all saw your daughter?
Yes.
That was the last time?
In person, yes.
She is last believed to have been in Grand Teton National
Right
Park in Wyoming
by
after visiting
Idaho.
That's true.
Right by Idaho.
Did
Grand
Attorney-
Teton National. Telling you.
Did Attorney
Kill zone.
Tom kill this girl?
Kill zone. Attorney Tom. And I want you to know something. No one's going to blame Tom, but he was like, it would be really cool to see it happen. I'm not looking for that to happen. He actually says that in his video. This is all your fault, Tom. It's all
Attorney
your
Tom.
fault.
Attorney Tom killed young YouTuber.
Is she? You're gonna find her body in the kill zone.
in this white 2012 Ford Transit.
A white van.
Yeah.
Well, they
It's
were
always a
going to
van.
Wyoming. You can't.
It's always a van.
Which police recovered in Florida.
So, we are right outside Capitol Reef, right?
God, I hate how both of them talk. Oh, God.
Now.
The couple has been living in Florida together for about 2 years. According to social media, they got engaged in 2020.
She's a beautiful, free spirit, just wanting to take a journey and have fun while she's young.
Gabby's father and stepmother say they simply want answers.
Coolest chick you ever met. Simple as that. And we need her back home.
We did reach out to Brian Laundrie's attorney, but have not heard back. Police in Florida told us they are processing the couple's ban for potential evidence. Gabby Petito is around 5'5" and has several identifiable tattoos, including one on her forearm that says, "Let it be." Jerika Duncan, CBS News, New York.
Yeah. Oh, man, that's a sad story because I'm pretty sure that girl is dead.
Yeah.
Like, I have... And the guy driving back home, like, dude, let me give the stream some advice. If you're going to kill your fiance, who's been publicly documenting your road trip across the country, you stay where she is and demand the authorities try to find her. Like, you have to pull the master level Dexter move where even when they find her, you're like, how can I help? Turns out I have a degree in forensics. Do you need me to check? Like, you have to do whatever you can to make it look like you didn't murder her, because that guy right now looks like he murdered her
He
twice.
looks so guilty. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that you would think, yeah, you definitely. Here's the thing, though. Okay, so let's help people plan a murder well here. Okay, so do you drive 50 miles away and then pretend that this is where, like, we were camped out and the last time I saw her was, so this way everyone is like 50 miles away from where the body is? Or do you, I mean, wouldn't
Or do
that
you
be
move
more
the
prudent?
body because you're in the fucking mountains? Like, that's the other question, because, right, like, if you move a body from an apartment, that's a thing. Like, they're going to check your apartment. They're going to check her apartment.
Over here, you don't have to worry about that. You also, everyone knows that she's going to have her DNA all over your car, so that's not a problem also.
Yeah.
So So, you're starting with a lot of advantages when you have the woman on the road. This is I feel evil just like talking about this in front of I have no idea who the hell is listening to this stream.
The laundry guy's out there taking notes for his next girlfriend. He's like, next time.
All I need is one. I mean, I don't know how many people you got watching, but on a typical time, you got 1,000 people at least watching you, and one of them just has to be a psycho. And I'm sitting here basically writing out his I'm writing his diary for him.
We got 1,900 right now. We're doing.
Do we
great.
really? Oh yeah. Okay. So sorry.
So there's two psychos in the audience.
Sometimes I don't realize how sexy I am. So, I'm not going to. But that is a question that you have to ask yourself. How far from the body do you go before you're like, oh my God, my girlfriend's gone. I need help. She just disappeared. Assuming you go with the whole she just walked out on me thing. If you go with the whole she just walked out on me thing, in that case, you need to come home a lot faster, don't you? Wouldn't you be sending texts saying I'm all heartbroken, whatever? She just walked out on me.
Yeah, we don't know if he's built up some sort of good alibi.
Type of thing.
Right.
But the key is don't go back home. You don't go back 2,000 miles and be like, oh wait, she's missing. By the P.S. She's missing. That you don't do it that way. You do stick in Wyoming. And
yeah, okay, what is this? Moab officers responded to previous incident involving missing woman and fiance. Let me see what this says.
By the way, did you cover the whole General Milley thing, or you didn't even talk about that at all?
I did not. I was going to do a video on it tomorrow.
Oh, okay, because by then it won't be really old news. So it's
I wanted to do one today, but I got kind of busy with life stuff.
Okay.
I made a roast today. It was really good.
Oh.
Okay, what is this?
That's actually probably more worth your time anyway.
So this is 10:30 p.m. So this is new. This is really new. Moab officers responded to previous incident involving missing woman and fiance. More information is coming to light in the case of missing New York woman on a nationwide road trip that passed through Utah. According to ABC News, the Moab Police Department responded to an incident involving 22-year-old.
Wyoming a second ago. Now we're in Utah.
Well, it says they were passing through Utah. They were in Wyoming in the Grand Tetons, but they would have gone through Utah, right?
No, I don't even think that's actually on the way. I mean, I guess if you're coming from Florida, maybe, but if you're coming from New York, you don't go through Utah on the way to Wyoming. I don't know. Go on.
Did you, speaking of geography,
Uh-huh.
this is just a brief aside. Did you see Biden speaking at Newsom's rally? And he said that he's talking about the wildfires. He's like, 2.2 million acres of forest, bigger than the state of New Jersey. And New Jersey's a big state. Now, Joe, I feel like you might have some personal insight on the size of the state of New Jersey. Is New Jersey a quote-unquote big state?
Physically, geographically, it's not a big state. I think it's probably, I would think it's like...
Please don't finish the sentence. Because I don't want you to be embarrassed by finishing the sentence in the way you were going.
Okay.
It's number 47 out of 50. It is the third smallest state in the nation. It is the opposite of big states.
Wow. Is it really? We're really?
Yes.
It's the third? I mean, Rhode Island is obviously... No, come on. Rhode Island, Hawaii, and then us?
Is it Hawaii or is it Delaware?
That doesn't make any sense. You got Rhode Island is obviously smaller. Delaware, Connecticut's got to be smaller than us.
Number 47.
I don't even believe this. I don't believe it's true. I don't believe it's true. We're definitely bigger than Connecticut.
You can go look it up. Okay, anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So according to ABC News, the Moab Police Department responded to an incident involving 22-year-old Gabby Petito and her fiance Brian Laundrie back in August. So I'm guessing that Moab that's in Utah. So they went through Moab, Utah before getting to Wyoming. Now, I don't know if they had to, but they did. In a statement to ABC News, Chief Brett Edge, Chief of Police, of the Moab Police Department said, Our officers did respond to an incident involving Brian Laundrie and Gabby Petito on 12 August 2021. Was this written by a European? However, neither Brian nor Gabrielle neither or. Oh, God. Yeah, this must have been written by a European who also doesn't understand English. Neither Brian or Gabrielle were the reporting party. Officers conducted an investigation and determined that insufficient evidence existed to justify criminal charges. Additional details about the incident officers responded to were not provided. Okay. While in Utah, the company traveled to Bruce Canyon, Canyonlands, and Arches National Parks before traveling to Moab on August 13th.
It was Bryce Canyon.
I don't know.
I've been there. That's why I'm saying.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
On August 24th, they checked out of a hotel in Salt Lake City. This is the last time Petito was seen. The next day, Petito's family says they received a final call from her saying she was in Grand Teton National Park. On Saturday, the family of Petito reported her missing. A YouTube channel had been created to document the journey, and numerous posts to both their Instagram accounts show they have traveled as far as Utah. On Tuesday, both Laundrie and the van the couple had been traveling reappeared in Florida. He beelined it from Wyoming to Florida, Saturday to Tuesday. He was making time.
Yeah, you see, and that's a bad sign also.
Yeah,
that's a sign he's really freaked out. When you're really freaked out, it's like he spent all day and night just driving.
I mean, Minnesota to Florida takes 3 days. Comfortably do it. You can do it in 2, but it's a freaking nightmare. Wyoming, that's another.
It's 2,000 miles.
It's a long way.
It's got to be 2,000 miles.
That's a lot of driving.
It's like 900 miles from where I am in New Jersey down to Florida.
Yeah.
So like if you're coming diagonal from Wyoming, it's got to be at least 2,000 miles.
Here, let's maps. Google Maps.
It's also like western Wyoming, and Wyoming's not a small state.
It's a lot bigger than New Jersey.
So they say. By the way, the reason I was right, it is Connecticut. Hawaii apparently is bigger than New Jersey.
Look at all those stupid
Connecticut
islands.
is smaller. Yeah, Connecticut is smaller, but there's 50 states, so it's actually fourth smallest state because 47 is 48, 49, 50. It's behind us. So
Okay, yeah, you're right. You're right. Okay, good. Okay, it's 2,330 miles from Grand Teton National Park to Tampa.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is, I don't know where in Florida they're going. That's the fastest route.
So think about this.
35 hours of driving.
It's 35 hours of driving, and he did it in a day and a half.
From Saturday to Tuesday. So Saturday, presumably Sunday, Monday, and then he arrives on Tuesday. He resurfaced on Tuesday. So he's got 4 days, but that's still a really fast trip.
That's really fast.
Because
he's the only driver also. It's not like he's got like any
only driver, and that's over 8 hours a day for 4 days. It's that's a lot of driving. That's a lot of fucking driving.
Don't try that at kids. Don't try that at home, kids.
Yeah. So let's see. That's only saying that they reappeared in Florida. They may have could have gotten there sooner. ABC4 affiliate WFLA reached out to Laundrie and received the following statement. Yeah, same statement. Federal officials are now involved in the investigation into Petito's disappearance, as they should be. This is a federal case, cross state lines. That guy, he killed the shit out of her. I mean, I don't know how else to say that, man. It's a big tragedy, but I cannot think of what is the alternative? Even if she broke up with him and walked off into the wilderness, there's no way you haul ass home.
You don't, right? You never do that. No one who does that. Who does that? You sort of like stay there and mope it out and try to figure out how to fix whatever it is that you're fixing.
And there's no way like some giant, beautiful, like native man came in and seduced her or something, right? Because he would be bitching about it. He'd have a story. You're like, yeah, this asshole came and she cheated on me, that bitch. And so I was out. I was like, fine, I'm taking my fucking van. I'm going back to Florida. You can eat shit, right? Like that's that's what you would do. You wouldn't like, fine, you want to be with that guy? You throw away our entire life, then you drive back home and you leave. That's a different thing.
Right. Then he would be talking about like what a hoe she is, but no, that never happened. That never happened.
No.
Yeah, the most likely situation here involves a lot of blood. A lot of blood. I don't think he would throw her off of a cliff or something like that.
And not Kamala Harris's stepdaughter's menstrual blood, but other blood.
Right. Why'd you have to remind me of that image of that hairy woman?
When Harry met Sally. That was just for you. The van was the girl's van, apparently, according to the chat. So he stole it.
Oh my God.
Even better look. That's an even better look for him.
Okay. Yeah, that's not good. That's not good.
That attorney's like,
how did you end up with her van and she ain't with you? And like no one's seen her since you were with her in Wyoming, and somehow you end up in her van? And you didn't report it? You think it's weird that she left her van there instead of just ditching you and taking the van for herself?
You know that attorney's first question to the guy, right? Like their client communication is, are they going to find her? I just need to know, are they going to find her?
Oh.
What do you mean you don't know?
I don't know.
Okay, look. You're not under oath here.
I'll be the
You'll be him.
I'll be him. You be the lawyer.
Yeah.
Okay.
Look, you're not under oath here, and I don't need to know the details of what happened, or how or why they may not be able to find your fiance, who is still apparently in Wyoming while you're in her van in Florida.
She didn't want the van anymore. She didn't want the van.
Stop that. I don't care about the van. That's not an issue. I need to know, are they ever going to find her? As your attorney, I need to, because I'm telling you, if I'm on national TV and a news reporter says, we found her while I'm doing a press conference for you, I'm going to come back and they won't find you. So you tell me right now, you piece of shit, are they going to find her? And if you keep lying to me, I'm going to kill you myself.
Maybe. I'm not a mind reader. I can't tell you the future. I don't know. Maybe they'll find her.
Is she going to walk into an office, or are they going to find her and put her on a stretcher?
I don't know. This is a lot of questions you're asking me. I'm feeling too much pressure. Pressure.
You think this is pressure? You think this is pressure? Wait till the feds come. Wait till the FBI, Agent Johnson and Agent Sucks Johnson are going to come in here, and they're going to talk to you. And you're not, I'll sit there and say that my client has a right not to answer questions, but they're going to ask you over and over about whether or not she's going to walk out of the woods or if they're going to drag her out of the woods. I'm up to my knees in rice patties.
I don't know. Maybe they'll find her. maybe they'll find her. They might find her.
Okay, good. I'm going to need a $90,000 retainer.
Oh, phew. Thank God I'm out here in the sticks.
Yeah.
Because if I was back in Florida, they'd be charging me at a rate of $800 an hour. $90,000.
And this is seriously, there is no way you get representation on a case like this with under $50,000 up front.
Yeah. I mean, and if you want a good lawyer, it's going to be a lot more than that.
Yeah.
I had a friend of mine once who told me that he worked for someone who was involved with something for this. He basically was working as a manager for a State Department agency, and this guy once asked him if he could pay him off the books. And for one reason or another, the guy pleaded with him. I was like, hey, you can pay me off the books. He's like, okay, fine. And he ended up paying him off the books. And apparently there was this whole investigation into, like, 3 years later, all of a sudden he gets a phone call that he's being investigated for this guy who was apparently claiming he was on unemployment while he was also getting paid by the state or whatever. And now they thought he was in cahoots with him. So he asked me, as a friend of mine, who's got like a lot of money, and he didn't want to deal with this mess. He asked me for like a lawyer that I could recommend. And I came up with and they want, and this is just an inquiry. He's not under they said they're looking into it. They're trying to just understand what happened. The initial retainer. This is not a homicide. This is potential, maybe some sort of fraudulent embezzlement or something like that he would be a conspirator in. The initial retainer was 10 grand. And that's before he wasn't charged with anything, and he ended up never being charged with anything. They never ended up charging with anything. 10 grand and it wasn't like a high-end attorney that he ended up going to. It was a solid attorney, solid New York attorney, 10 grand that they said before they were even
oh my gosh. In Minnesota, if you've got a custody case, it's $5,000 anywhere to start. There's a guy who he doesn't operate around here
but
anymore.
A custody case is going to be 20 hours at least, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. But I'm saying your first payment to your custody lawyer is $5,000, and that's going to go really fast. But I mean, and that's everywhere. That's like a state standard minimum. This guy that I knew, he was a defense attorney here, and he did criminal sexual misconduct cases, right?
Mm-hmm.
His retainer started over $30,000.
Right.
If you got a murder case, man, you better pony up that booty, because your lawyer's coming for it. And in this case, you've got a lawyer who's going to be having to make public statements. He's going to be having to monitor social media. He's going to be having to monitor major media, responding to requests constantly. And every single one of those emails that lawyer is going to get every day from every news station, every one of those is going to be 1/10 of an hour or 2/10 of an hour to respond.
Oh, so this is actually the thing that I'll tell you, because I always felt like my rates were stupidly high. But what I would do with my clients, because I never wanted to feel like I was stealing from them. I was very, very conscientious about this. So I told all my clients, and this is a way you get a client to not gnaw your ear off with boring conversation and call up the phone and pick up the phone and talk to you all the time, is I tell them that because my rates are stupidly high, what I do is, and make sure that I'm never overcharging them, I charge in 10ths of an hour, but the first 5 minutes, I don't count. So until you get to that 6 minute, most attorneys, as soon as you get the first minute, they say you're at 1/10 of an hour. And then, so if they're charging you $600 an hour, that first, they'll charge you $100 for that first, they'll charge you, $60, whatever, for the first hour, $100 for the first 1/10 of an hour.
Yep.
And there you go. And now you get to 7 minutes. Now you're at 2/10 of an hour. And they don't break up that 2/10 into less. They'll just be like, now you're at 2/10 of an hour. So that's how you can end up, if you end up making you can make 20 phone calls in a span of a half hour, and you end up getting a total of 2 hours of work, of billable work that you do in half an hour. And that's, that's how some attorneys rack up crazy high fees, and they're nickel and diming everyone. Only those nickels are each $100 a pop. Now, that being said, what I would tell my client is, I'm never going to charge you until you cross that 1/10 of an hour, and then I round down. So if you go to 9 minutes, I'm going to charge you as if it's 6 minutes. You go to 11 minutes, once you get to 12 minutes, that's when I'm going to charge you now for 2/10 of an hour. This way, the advantage to me as an attorney is this. I say to them, if you want to call me and we have a conversation that's 5 minutes or less, I will not charge you a penny. Once we get to 6 minutes, then that's 1/10 of an hour. Sorry, I'm going to charge you, the $60 or whatever. But before that, then this way, if I get on the phone with a client I don't want to talk to, I'll be like, hey, look, I don't want to have to bill you, so let's wrap this up real quick. And they're like, okay, yeah, I just have a quick question. Should I write this or that? I'm like, probably the other. He's like, okay, fine, thanks, bye, Joe. And then they don't bother me. They leave me alone.
Yeah,
it's great.
That's a good plan if you don't want to get paid.
Right.
Listen to Joe not being a super grifter here.
Yeah.
Okay.
I do have to ask you one question about rates, though, because I'm actually billing myself out as a life coach now to my subs. I'm not even kidding. I was like, you guys want dating advice? You have other issues? I will be your life coach. I can't charge my normal hourly rate that I charge for that.
You can.
That's ridiculous. And no one's paying a life coach. No one's paying a life coach that.
Real quick, Eldon Bainling in the chat, he says, it sounds kind of unfair to charge a big retainer up front. And he says, it sounds like that, that's assuming that the person's guilty. No, it has nothing to do with guilt or innocence. It's literally about how much work the lawyer expects to do. In a case like this, that lawyer every day is going to get media inquiries that he's going to have to either respond to or not respond to. He's going to be having to do it, especially if she shows up dead. He's going to have to do a ton of work because, and let's be honest, this guy's going to get indicted. He's going to get indicted unless that girl walks out of the woods having a spiritual epiphany in like Nevada, like she just roaming the desert or whatever, and she comes up and she's like, "No, I just totally left on my own and it was great, and I'm so awake now." Like that won't happen. He's going to get charged.
Where's my car, dude? Where's my car?
The lawyer, whether he's guilty or innocent, has the same amount of work that he's going to have to do. The retainer is based on the idea that you are estimating out how much work you're going to do at your hourly rate to start, and that's what you need, because you have to assume that you're never going to get paid again after the retainer. If you do get paid again after the retainer, it's great, but you have to assume you won't. And so you have to set a floor. Okay, if I get stuck into this case and have to carry it out because the court won't let me go, what is my minimum amount that I'm willing to do this case for? That's your retainer. So.
Yeah, and the thing is, when you charge a fat initial retainer, part of the argument you say is like, in your brain, you're thinking, if they're desperate now, if they're not willing to call, and they're not willing or able, if they're not willing or able to cough up the money now, they're never going to be willing or able to cough it up. So that's why, you know, you always say, look, if you don't end up using the hours, I'll give you back the money. I'm not blowing this at the horse races.
Yeah,
but
the money goes back if you don't fill the hours. Spoiler alert: the hours are going to get filled, but for the most part. But no, to quote another criminal defense attorney who he's very wise and he'd been doing it for over 30 years. He said, when they say they can't pay the retainer, I say, you've got a truck, you've got a house, you've got a boat, sell it. And they're like, but I don't want to sell it. And he's like, do you want to go to prison? Like, do you want to go to prison?
Yeah.
Or do you want to sell the boat? That's the question. And if they're not willing to sell the truck or the boat, guess what? They're probably guilty. They know. It's like, they know.
Yeah.
So,
but that's really the thought process, is if they're really serious about this case, then they're going to do it. And especially when you have a client come to you and they want to in a civil matter, and they really want to I want to sue the hell out of that person, then you definitely want to take a fat retainer, because you're like, okay, the fire is really burning inside of him right now. Fire is not going to be nearly as strong after he gets that first bill from me. So,
yep.
And it's sort of like a wake-up call. You really believe in it? Really? You really want to blow through it? Because I tell you, I don't think you should be doing this. I think it's a waste of money. But I'll tell you right now, you want to do it? Fine. 25 grand, let's just an initial retainer, and I'm good to go. Let's get started. And and that's like a real, that's like taking a bucket of water and just like splashing on his face. And some of them are like, fine, here you go. Here's your 25.
Ralph says, if he mid-case can't pay, can the attorney even quit, and do they just give him a public defender? It depends on where in the case mid-case is. If he's been charged and you've appeared before the court, you have to ask permission to leave, and they're not paying the bill doesn't actually qualify as a reason that you can leave. Now, you can say there's been an irreparable breakdown of the attorney-client privilege or communications or whatever, and the guy can then say, no, he's actually just mad that I can't pay him. And then the judge might say, sorry, you're stuck. That's why you got to take the retainer up front.
I ever tell you about my physical altercation with my client in court? No.
Did you win?
Well, the bailiff ended up coming between us.
Okay.
What happened was, so this guy was really a bit of a hermit and a bit of a lunatic, and and he was fighting with his siblings over a will matter, and at one point they made an offer, and here's the thing: I knew that the total estate was something like $2.5 million. My adversary, who was suing to get her piece of the prize, thought that the entire net value of the estate was like $300,000. So he basically said, look, there's 3 siblings, there's $300,000. Why don't we just save everyone a lot of time? You give us $100,000 and we'll waive all claims and everything. And I went to him and I was like, dude, you got to take this. You got to take this. I mean, $100,000, she has a claim on $700,000. You got to grab that. You have to grab this.
Right.
And he's like, no, I'm not doing that. I was like, why not? I said, this is crazy. And all of a sudden, he just started becoming like really inflamed. And the next thing I know, he jumped up from the chair and started lunging for my throat. And the bailiff, thank God, was like right there, started like holding him back from me. And I was like, I don't even know what the hell to do with this. So I was like, Your Honor, it seems that my client is unwilling to accept the offer at this time. Also, I would like to be relieved of counsel. So the judge goes, well, without absent emotion, I can't just relieve you sua sponte unless your client consents. He looks at my client and he's like, so Mr. Williams, do you consent to have Mr. Neerman be relieved as being your counsel? So he goes, absolutely not. Why would I ever want to lose him as my attorney? And I just like looked at him. And I was like, my mouth dropped open. I was like, of course this guy's going to be like, I don't want anything to do with Joe. No, I look back at him and I just go, I'm in court. You can't, I sort of have to control my reaction. I just look back at him and I say, bless you. And the judge, and I ended up making a motion to get out of it. I charged him for the motion also. I was like, you want me to waste time filing a motion? There you go. So. Mine,
I had a client. We did not have a court appearance at the time, but I had a client and we had a deposition scheduled for 1 hour from the time that I'm talking to the client, and he wanted me to walk out of the deposition if they questioned him about a certain thing. I won't get any farther or more detailed than that, but. If they question him about a certain thing. And this is a very mundane thing that was definitely going to come up at the deposition, and they definitely had a right to ask. Okay? Like one of the most obvious things in civil litigation. And he says to me, well, if they ask about this, I want us to walk out. And I was like, we can't do that. You've got to answer the question on the deposition or you'll be in contempt. And he's like, nope, I'm not going to do it. And he said, and I said, you have to answer the questions about this subject because they get the right to ask. And so they're going to ask and you're going to have to answer. He says, I talked to so-and-so, another attorney. I said, well, I said, here's the deal. He's giving you the answers that you want to hear because he wants to get your business from me. I'm giving you the answers that are true. And I said, but if you don't like what I'm saying, hire that guy. I don't care. And then he yells, he says, I'll knock your fucking teeth out. And I said, all right, fine. I'm done. I fire you. And so I was like,
it's a great feeling firing a client.
I said, I fire you. I'm not going to put up with physical threats of violence against me. Clearly, you're not willing to take my advice and we have no ability to communicate. And so I'm withdrawing as counsel. And he said, what about my deposition? And I was like, I said, I'll tell them, I will tell opposing counsel that I have withdrawn and that you're requesting a
30 day
an extension of the deposition to reschedule it. I said, they don't have to give it to you. You still have to show up if they want to. And so I got up. I was like, and he's like very somber and sad. And I was like, sorry, man. Bye. Click. Called up the opposing counsel. Told him, I was like, yeah, I'm no longer representing this person. Will you give him an extension? Of course they did. Right. Like they weren't going to risk that. They weren't going to risk what would happen if they tried to demand that right after counsel had withdrawn. But yeah, it was a big mess. But clients get really heated, and sometimes they need to be reminded that, like, I don't actually need you as much as you need me. You're the one in litigation here. I'm just making money off of it.
I couldn't believe the dude was walking away from giving her $100,000 out of $2.5 million. I thought it was crazy.
That's insane. That's such a good deal.
I know. I was like, I'm saving you
$600.
I'm saving you like $700,000 here. He's like, no, there's a will which gives me everything. I'm telling you, I was positive he wrote that will himself. I mean, it looked so fake and phony that I was just like, this is so bad. This is so bad.
I mean, it's like you're at Best Buy, right? And you're looking at the beautiful 8K 80-inch TV, and they're like, you're like, this is $7,000. And then some guy comes up and tells the Best Buy guy that he needs to sell that TV right away for $1,000.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And he's like, it's like, buddy, you gonna buy this TV for $1,000? No way. Wait,
Yeah,
what are you doing?
Exactly.
Why wouldn't you take this deal?
Yeah.
Oh
Which that reminds me, by the way, one of the things that, you know, and when you're in the middle, when I was talking about something, a similar circumstance, in that I was talking about different cultures recently, and I was like, you know, people don't realize that when you go into the Middle East, and you go into like a market, and you see some design thing or whatever, you want some table piece that you want to get, and you ask them how much does it cost, and they'll say 800 shekel. They're not expecting you to pay 800 shekel. That's the price tag. And then they're expecting you to come in and offer a much lower number. So you're an idiot if you say, oh, okay, here's 800 shekel. What they're expecting you to do in all Middle Eastern countries is in Israel, every Muslim country, Saudi Arabia, all of them. What they all anticipate you're going to do is that you're going to come in there and you say 800 shekels. You're out of your mind. That's like 150 shekel. And then they're like, okay, I'll give you 600. And then you end up paying like 250. Right? Like they more than double the price on the thing. That's just standard operating procedure. And I was saying it's just a difference in culture. I'm not saying this way is right or that way is wrong. Imagine going into Best Buy and you say, how much is that flat screen TV? And they're like, oh, that's $1,400. And you're like, all right, I'll give you 600. You imagine someone going to Best Buy and saying that? I was like, that would be so much fun. You go into Best Buy and they tell you how much the price of some TV is, and you offer them like 40%. Dude, come on. All right, fine. I'll give you 700. 720. That's the highest I'm going. The guy look at you.
Some poor Best Buy minimum, like barely over minimum wage employees, like, no, it's the price on the tag. Nah, come on. We know the price on that's just your starting price. It's a little high. Okay, okay. I offered you 200, but really 250. How's 250? 250 is reasonable. You got to come down to 250. I mean, 700 is way too much for this TV. Have you seen TV prices all over the place? They're way cheaper than here. They're going down. What are you giving me something with the TV? You're not giving me anything with this TV. It's 250. How about that? What do you think? No, it's full price.
Yeah. Well, I once went into Kinko's. This is a true story that I think you're going to appreciate. I was once on the phone with someone in Kinko's, and I was buying a printer cartridge, and I saw that it said that it was like on sale for like $28, whatever. Mm-hmm. And I'm on the phone with this guy, and I was talking to him about an incident where this guy he wasn't Jewish, and I was talking about this incident where this guy was really anti-Semitic, and I was like, I don't want to deal with that. He's a jerk. He's really anti-Semitic. I don't have to deal with him at all. And the next thing I know, I come to the counter. I'm talking to and so the guy on the phone, Larry, is trying to convince me that like, no, I think it's good for you to work with him. Don't worry. It was just a joke. He wasn't serious. And I come up to the counter, and the clerk rings me up, and I see like the bill for this cartridge is like $80. So I was like, $80? It's supposed to be $28. So he's like, no, it's $80. That's what the price came up here. I said, it said on the sign there, $28. So the guy on the phone, he goes to me, dude, am I being punked? Are you in Kinko's haggling over the price of a damn printer cartridge? So I was like, I'm not haggling. That's what the price said. He's like, so you're sitting here worrying about some anti-Semite, and you're like in Kinko's haggling over the price of a printer cartridge. I'm like, that's so not right. That's so not cool.
The price said. What was I supposed to do?
It said $28. I'm not haggling.
My story about that is I used to work at Circuit City, but after I worked at Circuit City, a good time after I worked at Circuit City, I walked in and I bought a video game, or I wanted to buy this video game. I saw it on the shelf. It was Dawn of War, which is why I am into Warhammer, is because of this stupid game, probably as the genesis of it, because this was before I started reading the books. And every box of Dawn of War had a price tag on it for $30, except one.
Right,
it's
the one you picked up.
$5.95.
Oh,
was on the price tag.
Nice.
And I looked at this and I went, I know Circuit City policy. I worked here. I marched my ass right up the front. I'm like, I'm buying this, and this is the price. And they ring it up. They're like, it's $30. I'm like, not according to that sticker, you asshole. It's $5.95. That's the price I demand. That's what you put on there. And they were like, you know, I guess you're right. I mean, it wasn't just like one of those little like sticker gun stickers, right? It's like this is the magnetic sticker.
Right. So they know that you didn't find one of those guns and slap it on yourself.
Right. It says it's like
next thing you're gonna go over to like some Dell computer. It's gonna be like $2.30. So you just boom.
Yeah.
Oh, look, that's what you guys got.
It was the magnetic security tag and everything. So I don't know how they had to misprint that bad, but it was great. I got it. I got it at that price. They had to give it to me. Okay, man. I got a bunch of super chats to read. It's also really late. If you wanted to peace out, you're welcome to. So
yeah, I think I'm gonna close out pretty soon because I got Yom Kippur tomorrow, which is like Jewish Day of Atonement, which I'll be fasting for like 25 hours.
You probably need to do 26 or 27 hours. I've been watching what you do. You got to atone for a lot.
Yeah, so that starts tomorrow at sunset. So I'm gonna be gone for like but I sort of got a lot to take care of. So I think I am gonna like wrap up. I usually stay for your super chats.
Yeah, but it's already 2, man. It's late for you.
It's 3 o'clock here. Yeah. So this was fun.
Yeah, man. Thanks for coming on.
I'm gonna bring you on next week. All right.
Yeah. Let me know.
That sounded so non-committal. Yeah. Let me know.
Well, I mean, I can't promise just to show up on any show next week.
Yeah.
You got to let me know so I can tell
Nick,
you.
Please come. Okay, it's fine.
I will come on a show. I just assuming I have it open. You know,
right.
I'm in. But
okay.
Let me know.
I'll have my people call your people, brother. Thanks so much.
People.
I'll call you soon. Take care.
Yeah. See you, buddy. Peace. Okay. Goodbye, stupid headphones. We're done with that. Okay, we're going to read through these justice chats and super chats and be done with that for the night. And then I guess I have to go over to Twitch. I got a Twitch show to do because I'm trying to be committed to doing the Twitch show, which is tough. What day is it? Okay, here we go. We started on the 14th. Right? It's the 15th now. Here we go. What? Okay, yeah, there we go. Perfect. Scarfy the Strange. I know the white balance thing is weird. I gotta fix that. I want to turn my head and ruin it one more time just for you guys. It takes like a minute for it to kick in. I don't know what it is. Oh, there it goes. Come on, do it. Ah, you asshole. Okay. Scarvy the Strange says, if the country bans guns on the grounds that guns kill people instead of people kill people, would that set a precedent for weapons being accountable for murder instead of the wielder? Can I say you can't prosecute me for something only a weapon can do? No. That's just not going to work. Jared, he went to Jared. Jared says, I had to basically beg my lawyer to give back what he didn't use, resisting arrest charge in college. Oh, yeah. Yeah, they're not going to part with it easily. Not easily at all. Niku Yasha says, Nick, what is your take on Lori suing Chicago's gangs to lower crime? Is Lori Lightfoot legitimately filing suit against Chicago gangs to lower crime? Oh my God. Personally, I think that's a checkmate. Yeah, no, she's got him. She's got him right where she wants them. I hope so. Emotionally exhausted says, hey, Rackets. Looks like Pastor Pawlowski from Calgary will be sent to the joint for contempt next month. Please pray for him and for Alberta to leave Canada and escape its filthy commie oppression. Mario Carter 13 says Nick's forehead might be longer than his nose. Ooh. Ace Brain 2003 says Irish wristwatch or no Irish wristwatch on your futa. None ever. Eldon Bainling says, why are you assaulting my eyes with that haircut? What the fuck did I do to you to deserve this? You knew what this was. I thought you were done with the lesbian haircuts. Why you do this? No, look, I've been a lesbian for longer than you. Galactic Ho says, California listener here, coping hard. Sorry, man. Sasmets. Well, thank you for the donation. Renee Delgado, welcome to lawyer status. Very much appreciated. Domachnall, 1989 says, the whole thing with Vito just proved you cannot trust people who claim to be left-wing. They're all snakes and liars and authoritarians. Celtic 704 says, I am a fellow Minnesota. The army is making me get the shot. Is there a way I could have a memo that says I'm forced the shot under protest? I mean, you could write the memo out, but you could try and claim a religious exemption. I don't know if that works in the army. Sasmet says, love the hair. Oh, thank you. See, there's some respect. There's some respect. Does it matter? Says, nice updo, Richard Spencer. Wannabe. Will we ever be able to get rid of the mail-in ballot fortification system? No, it's entrenched now. It's gonna stay there. Robert Corrales says, gayest haircut yet? Not gay. You have seen nothing yet. Grim Turd says, rip Norm Macdonald. The last fearless comic makes my heart weep for this country. Thermasius 1980 says, who's the dyke impersonating Nick? Look, I held back the waters. Mario Carter 13 says, Juan Kinkos and his family voted 100,000 times. Grim Turd says, I knew Newsom wasn't going to lose his grip, but Elder will get so much publicity from this, and that makes me very happy. Pimp Good Logic's channel. Okay, yeah, guys, check out Good Logic, LAWGIC on YouTube. I'll put it in the description in a little bit. If I do it now, it'll mess up all the super chats, but I'll put it in the description for the replay. Make sure you go over there and subscribe. He's relying on me to pimp his channel as if he wasn't just on here for 2.5 hours, that he could have done it himself. Oh no, he's just, I have to do it. Do you believe this? Not applicable, says blowout voting machines these days, eh? The gray one says, yo, Nick, how you been? Also in Kermit, what do you mean the elite never follows the rules they set on the serfs? They wouldn't just lie to us, right? No, never. Wolfgang Deo says, these blimming elitist prigs. Oh, it's just simple addition and subtraction. Oh, yeah, let's go pure math on that. Jordan Jones says, lived in SoCal for 6 years, 1 year in Orange County. It's a flat out disgusting and corrupted state, but the weather is nice. And that's why California is actually able to be as shit as it is, because the weather is so nice in so much of the country, or so much of the state. Altcoins FM says, Zyke Ricada Law. Lol. Harvey Weinstein says, could Grueller beat up Tom and Devin at the same time? Probably. Samantha Flynn says, hey, Nick, we're anxious to see how initial hearing State of Indiana versus Chrissy on Friday will go. It's supposed to be streamed. Nervous but hopeful. Streamed. Whoop, whoop. Samantha and Quentin, if you happen to hear this, I would appreciate a link to that stream. If you can't send it, let me know where I can find it. I'll go find it myself if you're not allowed to send it. But I would love to be able to cover that live if possible. We'll see what happens. But that would be great. And I'm wishing you guys the best. Mario Carter 13 says, a Republican could totally win California if you abandon Trumpism. Trust us, bro. Media is so full of shit, yet neo-cucks actually believe this. Lucky Luckado says, just like your haircut, the California election was/is destined to happen. We have past examples. Eldon Bainling says, your haircut lost California the recall. Thanks, fam. Anytime. I, for one, love Gavin Newsom being in charge of California because it gets more people out of California. Mr. LHD6 says, sorry, Nick, the Hitler Youth haircut isn't going to make your nose look any smaller. Yes, it will. Yes, it will. It will do it. What is next here? Any Lucas Painter says, take this money, Nick, and in doing so, liberate it from California. My pleasure. Torberin says, hi, Nick. Gonna go away on work rotation for 2 weeks. Your show is the best thing to listen to while welding for 12 hours. Hey, thank you. Angry Bellsprout says on the 16th, the AF is doing a virtual town hall on barristers against minorities in the military. Bunch of diversity, inclusion, equity language surrounding it. Makes me so ashamed I ever raised hand to be in this Marxist BS. Oh, the AF being the Air Force. Wow. Angry Bellsprout, is that open to the public? If so, can you email me the link to that? Renee Villarreal says, that's a popular haircut in Mexico. Thanks. Tina says, Nick, your ass looks like Zorg. David Bowser says, take a shot for Norm Macdonald, rip to one of the greats. I did. Genuinely sad about that. Worst things first says, Muir was born in Scotland and saved national parks from becoming filthy theme parks. California has strayed from many things it once stood for. Wolfgang Teo says, as a good German, I follow orders. Eirik the Red says, I'm Not Norm YouTube channel is a treasure trove of great Norm bits. Yes, it is. I've spent many hours just letting that roll through. Master Blaster says, Norm Macdonald died. I didn't know he was sick. Matty Ice says, I thought it was startling to hear Vito call Friday Night Tights and Alex Jones alt-right. It's not 2017 anymore. That term isn't ambiguous anymore. No. But Vito wasn't being ambiguous. He was being disingenuous. Genshiken 2006 says, the light settings set for Drex. Yeah, I've never had it do that with the white balance before. So we got to figure out what's wrong there. Wrestler Town says, Norm was making fun of his own health for being fat while he had cancer. Lol. Champion. Zinch says, taxation is theft. Oh, and minimum wage is stupid. Get rid of it. Yes. Blackwind KFP Inquisitor says, here, take this super to get some scissors and finish off that abomination of a haircut. No, never. Noir 777 says, thanks to the labor shortage, I went from $14 to $19 an hour and I work in Alabama, so not everything is bad. Lagging says, just tuned in. Why is Richard Spencer hosting? Look, I'm not Richard Spencer because I didn't vote for Joe Biden. Wolfgang Deo says, I have a really good argument and model for universal basic income, but why? Christ already provides the UBI we need, love and opening one's eyes to easier survival. Load Jen 1990 says, your hairdo looks like Jean-Baptiste Emmanuel Zorg from The Fifth Element. Oh, yeah, Gary Oldman, right? 2D Knight says, your head is a day-night cycle all its own. Lucky Luckadoo says, the most votes for any governor ever. Full Bender Network says, Daddy, no! Digitalis says, hey, can I get a haircut? Alice Clar, her commissar. Vanilla Honey says, the counties that voted no on the recall shouldn't get help the next time their forests catch on fire. They're helping the bozo that's burning down California. Texas Red says, go away, Tom. Russell Hall says, well, look who lost a bet. Unfortunate. You, I guess. Wolfgang Dale says, move to California, my guy. Highest money super chat. Lucky Luckadoo says, weird, huh? Patrick McHugh says, Norm was someone I looked up to, and it really is a shame he's gone. Look up his podcast, bit of guest reading jokes he wrote. Nice nose and hair combo. Hey, thank you. Yeah, that was the best part. He wrote the jokes. And then when people would be so uncomfortable by the joke he wrote that they wouldn't say it, like, God, it was great. It was so great to see them go, oh, God, I can't even read that one. It's terrible. Is Haleson says, just in, Chicago mayor to sue all the gangs to finally end crime. My God, how did no one think of this before? Patrick McHugh says, how many ballots did you stuff in that nose, Nick? Always one more. Lucky Luckado says, more votes than any governor ever. Dom H. Null, 1989 says, I do not understand Vito's motivation. Dick's brand is built on free speech, and nobody would have a clue who Vito is without Dick. Wolfgang, it's similar to Asterios, man. Asterios did the same thing. They got the attention of an audience that disagrees with them politically. And rather than just leave the politics and shit out of it, they decided to shit on the audience, to trash the audience who is supporting them in some way. I mean, I guess I don't know. I don't know if Vito gets a cut of the show or anything like that, or if Vito got an increase in subs. I have no idea. What I do know is that for Asterios, right? Like, he got a bunch of Patreon and direct support from people who he disagree with politically, who are just begging constantly, please shut up about your politics and just be a funny man and we will support you. And he just could not do it. And Vito seems to be the same. Wolfgang Deo says, Tom Bombethrill, joke's on you, bro. We don't want you in any other state given how poorly you treated the one you live in. Stay there, lol. Eureka, California. Bad Vibe says, Nick blew his nose in August. Hurricane Nicholas hit Texas this week. Coincidence? I think not. True. JK Wynn says, I live in actual Northern Cali with water and resources, and the effing elite screw everyone. These idiots vote this way with the truth in their face. Agent Cobalt says, did you ever see the trailer for that National Geo Fauci documentary? Blatant propaganda got ratioed how you'd expect. Good. Sentinel Rex says, an AR-15 is made of aluminum. Also, even if it was steel, there's not enough metal to make a sword. This is a scam. Of course it's a scam, right? Spec says, can you let good logic know that the one class of people are house slaves? If you're going to be a house slave, it's better than being a field slave. Xenobit says, good logic, read the Talmud faster than Yellow Flash reads the super chats. Just reading anything is faster than Flash reads super chats. Mario Carter 13 says, Alex Jones sounds like a fan of Jim's hyperbole. Danette says, don't talk about politics. How boring. Look, Asterios had some real shit political takes. And the problem with that is that he thought he was right, but he wasn't. He's not right on this stuff. And he's from an audience he's got an audience that firmly disagrees in principle with those things. So he could talk about politics, but like, that'd be like if I came on here and I was like, Joe Biden is the best. He's really great. And everything he does is wonderful. And all mandates are good and speech is bad. Like, my audience would hate it. They would hate me, and they should. Andrew War Snowboard says, Tom Bombethrill to Ohio. Cypher's Basement says, did you get my email about my employer denying my 14th Amendment right to privacy? I probably, but I haven't read it. Mario Carter says, I can't find her. She's in too many pieces. Oh, God. That poor woman. Joshua Vidrine says, just woke up, thought I'd tune in, but at least those two kids had a love of studying instilled in them by their school. Joe, glad to catch you live here somehow. Always like hearing your thoughts. Shark Denture says, it's not a crime unless 14 feds join and investigate it. Sentinel Rex says, we was Amazon drivers and shit, styling and racial profiling. As a Navy vet, don't drop packages at places for no good reason. John Cook is correct in saying that Asterios never tried to call thought cops on people because they ignored him in an argument, to my knowledge. Yes. I don't mean, I'm comparing Vito and Asterios in how they are interacting with an audience that is going to be largely opposed to their politics through the Dick Show. The reason I bring that up is the audience supported Asterios, even though they knew his politics were not in line with their own. Pretty quickly. They didn't mind until they got berated over and over and over and over again for those politics. Then people go, okay, fine. I guess you don't want my money. That's how it goes. Vito went way too far and then did the cancel culture thing, which is just stupidly off brand, but also doesn't matter if it's off brand. It's just stupid in general. Andrew War Snowboard says, which is better, first season of Buffy or the last season of Dexter? Oh God, that's a tough choice. I'm going to go with first season of Buffy, even though it's really fucking bad. Crusader Saracen says, Allah rain mercy upon California. And by mercy, I mean nuclear hellfire. He also says, I pray for the missing woman. If the worst has to come to pass, then I pray for the repose of her eternal soul. Invidious Ignoramus says, please, she stumbled off a cliff in the middle of the night, getting up for a dump. Clearly, he didn't say anything because innocence is unprovable here. Yeah, I'm sure. That's it. Sentinel Rex says, possible she accidentally died during breath play. Something weird, and he ran home in fear and shame. He definitely did it. Could have been malicious. We'll see. Mario Carter 13 says, Attorney Tom helped drive him back to Florida. Mandy says, which toll roads did he take, and did he pay cash? Ooh, good question. Shark Denture says, it's not the size of the state, it's how you use it. William Amiot says, wimps, I'm doing 13 hours just today. Yeah, professional drivers can do a lot of hours better than normie people. Joshua Vidrine says, only other explanation is skinwalkers or something. It scared the shit out of him after killing her. Something tells me that won't fly in court. Yeah, no. Crusader Saracen says, what's in the box, Joe? Crusader Saracen says, David, so sad Steve Jobs died of ligma. Goliath, what's ligma? David said, ligma balls. Wouldn't he say ligma smooth stones? Jesse Martin says, how do you even find an attorney? A lot of people do it through a phone book. Otherwise, personal recommendations, the internet, call the Bar Association. Scarvy the Strange says, if that guy ran home that fast over a breakup, then he must have been that never good enough scooter guy. Look him up for a laugh. Red Mage 13 says, friends who worked at Best Buy told me the margins are really good on TVs, but really bad on computers. Yep. Selling extra stuff and packages on computers, how they make their profit on those items. Yeah, and the warranties. Xenobit says, will you participate in Lori Lightfoot's new school program, Hooked on Ebonics? I bees participating already. Joel Reese says, love the hair. It distracts me from your nose. Perfect. Peter version 1 says, really? Right wing does nothing. You believe that? When have I ever said the right wing does nothing? I don't know what you're talking about or what you're referring to. Never been my position that the right wing does nothing. No one important says, I can't leave Cali, but I have to shred my ballot since I knew Newsom wouldn't lose. System wouldn't let him. He just kind of gave up on everything. Mandy says, Sarang he, Nick Jong-un, United States Duma. Thermasius says, Vito or Nick, can't tell with that haircut. Stop it. Stop it. Stop that. Archimedes says, I just checked the results. They rigged California recall pretty bad, didn't they? Look, maybe they'll deny that, of course. Echo Chamber Show says Vito gets 100% of the show's revenue and snacks. Sasmet says Norm equaled the best contribution in the world from Canada. Peter version 1 says nothing wrong. I've never said the right does nothing wrong. You're barking up the wrong tree here, buddy. That's not my position, never has been. I'm not even that right wing. Like, I'm not even that far to the right. I am a gay libertarian or whatever. That's what everybody calls me because I just believe in freedom. Okay. That being said, I think we're done. Here. Yes, we are. Perfect. Thank you all for joining me. It has been my pleasure to do this show. You guys always make it fun. We will have another show tomorrow, of course, assuming something weird doesn't come up, of course. And we'll see what's going on then. As for everything else, I don't have an outro, right? So I don't have an outro. So here we go. Here's an outro for you.
Why you think you done it? Okay, number one, Your Honor. Just look at him.
He talks like a fag, too.
I forgot to say, peace.
Why you think you done it? Okay, number one, Your Honor. Just look at him.
He talks like a fag, too. I heard it.